Welcome to the Vonage Notre Dame Countdown to Kickoff.
It's the third Saturday in October, and there's a special feeling around Notre Dame Stadium as it hosts the greatest intersectional rivalry in college football. Autumn Saturdays are special at Notre Dame, and nothing brings more electricity to the campus than when USC comes to town.
It doesn't take 10 tackles on defense, it takes 30 tackles on defense, but we beat Southern Cal.
It's a rivalry that began in 1926 and has produced many epic gridiron battles. None more memorable than the one that took place on this field 2 years ago.
Reiner gonna try to sneak it ahead. Touchdown, SC! The Trojans pull it out like national champions that they are.
This year started as most recent years have for USC, atop the rankings, with its sights set on another national title. But in this upside-down season, even the mighty Trojans were not immune to the upset bug.
Stanford 24, Trojans 23. How about that one, folks?
Now USC returns to South Bend to face an Irish team that is desperate to author its own special chapter in this storied rivalry. It's the ultimate in tradition, USC and Notre Dame. You're watching the Vonage Notre Dame Countdown to Kickoff. Some fall colors starting to show on the Notre Dame campus, but still primarily green. And the stadium will be green today as the Irish wear green throwback jerseys. Earlier, Charlie Weis led the walk from Mass to the stadium for his team. Evan Sharpley gets the start at quarterback, already looking sharp with the white shoes to match the white tie and the black shirt. And the USC Trojans, well, they're already rocking. This is the bus as it arrived earlier. The players inside making it rock back and forth as Pete Carroll greets the Trojan supporters who made the trip to South Bend. And inside Notre Dame Stadium sold out as the USC Trojans meet the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Notre Dame Stadium. Tom Hammond and Pat Hayden ready for the Trojans and the Irish. And, of course, the task for Coach Charlie Weis, the same as it has been all season long, trying to find some offense for his Fighting Irish. And he says he's not the type of guy to keep doing something if it's not working, so he is doing something different today, Pat. He's starting another quarterback. Evan Sharpley gets the start, the third Irish quarterback to start this season.
And his first start, and Tom, he's earned it. And he's earned it on the field by his play, and he's filled in quite capably for Jimmy Clausen, particularly last week against Boston College when he came in and really kind of sparked his team. Now, they haven't scored a lot of touchdowns, just 7 offensive touchdowns, but he's been the quarterback on 4 of them. Beautiful throw here to Robbie Paris, the touchdown that really sparked the Irish. But I think the real reason he started today is his mobility in the pocket, avoiding that rush. USC is a very good pass rushing team, and I think that's the reason he's going to get the start. But he's going to have to get a lot of help from the rushing game. They've not run the ball well at all this year.
Well, in this crazy college football season, the unusual has become the norm. It was normal to see USC atop the preseason polls, #1, given the great job Pete Carroll has done in his 7 years at SC. But the last 3 games have not been easy.
Well, this is a different kind of Trojan team. Everybody's used to the 40 or 50 point blowouts. This is a different Trojan offense. They're going to play a lot closer games. You see, they have struggled on offense the last 3 weeks as well, and so you're going to see tighter games, and they're going to have to be, win more games in the fourth quarter this year than they have in the past.
Those last 3 games, including that loss to 40-point underdog Stanford. John David Booty continues to suffer from a broken finger on his right hand, his throwing hand. So Mark Sanchez, for the second straight game, gets the start.
And his first road start in a traditional rivalry game. And, the coaches are just thrilled with his athletic ability. Pete Carroll says, he's got the strongest arm in the program since Carson Palmer. That's pretty strong. But we need to calm him down. They feel like you have to win the game every third down. He still has lots of weapons around him at receiver and running back. But I think the key today, Tom, he's got 3 reserve offensive linemen in front of him.
Well, the injury to Booty occasioned the quarterback change, the first in Pete Carroll's 7 years at SC. The Irish starting to make their way toward the field. We'll be back to the Vonage Notre Dame Countdown to Kickoff in just 30 seconds. What's better than watching the Irish on your TV? Watching them from your seat at Notre Dame Stadium. Go to Vonage.NBCSports.com for your chance to win a trip for 2 to an Irish home game. Notre Dame and USC, the storied rivalry. Not the hype of a couple of years ago, of course, but the one-loss Trojans favored here at Notre Dame Stadium to beat the Irish as they have in recent years. And as we mentioned earlier, to honor the 1977 National Championship team, which wore the green jerseys in a win over USC, the Irish today wearing the green throwback jerseys and gathering in the tunnel underneath Notre Dame Stadium. As usual, number 9, Tom Zbikowski, the fifth-year senior, will be the man to lead them out. Some final words. And, of course, they warmed up in the green jerseys today, so no surprise, as it has been on most occasions. It was announced last summer that they would be wearing these green throwback jerseys to honor the 1977 team earlier this season. And here come the Irish. Evan Sharpley, number 13, getting the start at quarterback as the Trojans make their appearance, looking for their 6th consecutive win over Notre Dame. Charlie Weis trying to find some spark for his offense to have a chance to upset the Trojans today. And hoping a little magic of the green jerseys will help. Pete Carroll had his team in here yesterday to be familiar with the stadium and looking for another win. And he's with Alex. Alex?
Coach, your first time in your 7 years at USC that you're making a quarterback change. What does Mark Sanchez bring to the offense?
Well, he brings a lot of energy. He's been with us for a number of years. He's got good experience. He just doesn't have a lot of game experience, but he's a kid that's really been brought up in our program, so we believe in him.
Such a storied rivalry between these two teams. What did you tell your team about this game today?
Well, we need to play real well, play good football. They make them play well, too. They've had their troubles. Well, hopefully we can play a really good football game, take care of our business, and get ourselves a win today.
All right, Coach Carroll, thank you.
All right, Alex Flanagan with a pregame chat with Coach Pete Carroll as the Trojans square off against the Irish. And you've been watching the Vonage Notre Dame countdown to kickoff from sold-out Notre Dame Stadium. We'll be right back here after these messages from your local NBC station. It is a gorgeous autumn afternoon in northern Indiana for the storied rivalry, 79th meeting between the Irish and SC. SC's won the last 5, but Notre Dame with the lead overall in the series. The Trojans blew out the Irish at the Coliseum a year ago. And an interesting development here. Charlie Weis, for the first time since he's been at Notre Dame, is going to play defense first. Notre Dame won the toss, but elected to defer, which means SC gets the ball. You think that's a good decision?
I do think that's a good decision. His defense is playing much better than their offense, and there's a young quarterback, Mark Sanchez, getting his first start on the road. So Charlie said he'd always accept it, made the exception today.
Nate Whitaker will tee it up to kick off for Notre Dame. Johnson and Reed will be the deep men for USC.
Charlie also said they have to be really aggressive in the special teams game today to have a chance of winning.
And the kickoff by Whitaker. Fielded by Johnson. Johnson, the speedster, got a little seam. Broke a tackle, broke another, and it's all the way across the 40-yard line to 43 before he's taken down by Whitaker, the kicker. Big return by Ronald Johnson.
Yeah, and they picked up a couple of really good blocks by Maliva early on in that block. And then Desmond Reed, a freshman with the greatest speed, straight-out speed for the Trojan team.
38-yard return by Ronald Johnson, the freshman from Muskegon, Michigan. So Mark Sanchez will take over with a first down at his own 43-yard line. Good field position for the Trojans. Sanchez on first down, hands to Chauncey Washington, and he's stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Justin Brown, the first to make the Notre Dame hit. Sanchez in his second start, completing 62%, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Our Adidas starting lineups for the Trojan offense. Fred Davis, the tight end, a converted wide receiver, top receiver for the Trojans with 29 catches. And two-time All-American Sam Baker injured, so freshman Butch Lewis starts at left tackle.
As I said, 3 reserve offensive linemen playing today for USC.
Sanchez raising up, calling a timeout. Play clock still had 6 seconds left, and he saw something he didn't like, so he's forced to spend an early timeout as he discusses it with Vidal Hazelton. Timeout. Trojans will take a break and return on this opening drive. Back at Notre Dame Stadium, Mark Sanchez had to call a timeout with a mix-up for the Trojans. They'll have it 2nd down and 10 from their own 43, first possession of the game. Irish come with their nickel defense on this 2nd and 10. 5 defensive backs. Sanchez, short drop, first pass deflected.
Yeah, but
we usually expect to see either Pat Coons or Trevor Laws in there deflecting that pass.
I think it was Coons. That's his 8th deflection of the year, playing nose tackle, as you see right in front of you.
Our Adidas starting lineup defensively for the Irish. Crum tried to play last week with a toe injury, couldn't go, but ready to go. He's the top tackler for the Irish. And the LA-born Lambert looking for a big game against SC.
Well, Pat Coons, the nose tackle. 8 tipped passes already this season for the Irish.
3rd down and 10. Irish show blitz.
Should have been a penalty on
There is
USC.
a flag down. Pass is complete. It'll be enough for the first down if it stands, but it looked like a false start committed by the Trojans. Fred Davis made the catch from Mark Sanchez.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 60 on the offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
That's Drew Radovich, guilty of the false start. Brian O'Kane from the Pac-10, our referee today.
Irish fans are happy. Brian O'Kane, the referee today. And Drew Radovich, the right tackle, a little anxious. So this is one of these situations where we talked about at the top of the show that Mark Sanchez doesn't have to win the game here. Big, strong arm, but just take what the defense gives you. They have to dump it and punt it. That's what the coaches want them to do.
3rd down and 15. Irish in their press defense on the corners. Sanchez on the slant, complete to Turner. Patrick Turner close to the first down marker, appears to be just short. David Bruton made a short tackle for the Irish. A gain of 14, looks like it'll be a yard short.
And that's a real confidence builder for Patrick Turner, because he's dropped some balls this year. Key 3rd down on opening drives, makes a nice catch. It'll be 4th and short. Looks like Coach Carroll's going to send out. Nope, he's going to go for it.
So SC will go for it on 4th down and a yard. Opening drive of the game. Sanchez back in the huddle. Sanchez pitches to Washington, and the play stopped. Timeout, SC, before the play unfolded.
That's unbelievable. Two
timeouts on the opening drive of the game.
Less than 2 minutes. Those are precious, precious timeouts used when you need them at the end of the first half.
So a little out of sync. How much of that is due to an inexperienced quarterback?
Well, that may be some of it, but if you're going to use a timeout, Tom, I think 4th and 1 is the time you use it, right? You want to be absolutely certain on a 4th and 1 play. Should also mention, too, that, another thing for USC, the center, Matt Spanos, and Mark Sanchez have not really been able to practice live snaps since last Saturday. All week long, Matt Spanos has had a right hand injured with a bunch of stitches in it. Not been able to practice until pre-game routine today.
And here is what took place pre-game.
Yeah. And again, as I said,
Spanos, 69.
First snaps since last Saturday's game. This is the 2nd week in a row they've not been able to practice it during the week. And they changed their mind, bring out the punt team.
So the punt team is out.
I think this is the right call, too. Punt the ball, get the ball down in good field position. USC's got a very good defense, force the young quarterback to go the distance.
Roydneck with a punt, and Zibikowski lets it bounce, and it takes a great SC bounce and will be downed at about the 8-yard line. Red Ellison downfield and down at the punt, 40 yards without a return. Notre Dame football is brought to you by ADT, America's #1 security provider. By Charles Schwab. We're taking the sting out of investing. Talk to Chuck, Charles Schwab. And by the Comcast Triple Play. Experience TV, phone, and internet together like never before. So after Joe McKnight down quickly to down the punt for SC, Evan Sharpley under center for his first career start. First down from the Irish 8. Pitch it to Travis Thomas. Thomas hit, still drives forward and takes it out to the 12-yard line. Take a look at our Adidas starting lineups now for the Irish offense. As Thomas, with Aldridge hurt, the fifth-year senior hasn't played much, but starts at running back today for his toughness and blitz pickup. And on that offensive line, Sullivan, the only senior, will have his work cut out today against Cedric Ellis.
You know, it's really important for the Irish to keep this game in hand in the first half. They only scored 24 points in the first half, and that's really been the problem, playing from way behind in the second half of games.
Got 5 yards on first down is Sharpley's first pass. Flag is down. Carlson wide open for the first down, but a penalty marker down. Kevin Ellison tackled Carlson after 15 yards. Let's see what the flag was all about. Hold against SC.
That should be an automatic first down, but if Evan Sharpley is going to have a good day in the passing game, that guy John Carlson is going to be a featured player. Really come on the last 3 weeks for both Evan Sharpley and Jimmy Clausen when he was playing. Didn't play against USC last year because of an injury, but has really, I think, kind of settled the young quarterbacks down over the last couple of weeks.
Holding by the defense. That penalty has declined. First down.
So the pass to Carlson, good for the first down. It's his 23rd reception of the season. He's the top receiver for the Irish.
Yeah, there's the tight end, John Carlson, and good blocker, 22 catches on the year. This is his 83rd career catch. And a big opening. And he's going to feature in their intermediate passing game significantly for the Irish.
So Sharpley connects on his first pass. Here's a first down attempt, and it is knocked down at the last minute. Intended for Carlson again. And a good defensive play by Kevin Ellison, matched up with the tight end. Adidas starting lineups defensively for the Trojans. Ellis, the All-American, one of the best in the nation, 13 career sacks. Cushing back from injury gives a boost to the Trojan linebacking core. All-American Mays at free safety, the leader of that secondary.
I think Carroll saying having Brian Cushing back was really, really significant for this defensive team. On the men defensively, getting some guys back.
Second down and 10. Carlson resets. Hand off to Thomas. And Travis Thomas pounds ahead for about 4 yards.
Well, Tom, one of the reasons that Charlie Weiss changed his view about accepting the ball to open the game, you see what they've done in 7 opening drives, have not scored a point yet. Much different than a year ago. Remember how dynamic they were in that opening series last year's team? But this is, for the Irish, a much different offensive team as well. Really struggled in the running game in particular.
But right now his defense is the better unit, and they did hold SC on the first series. They're down and 5. Sharpley adjusting the play. Trojans show blitz. Sharpley going deep downfield for Paris. Makes a diving, or it was Tate, makes a diving attempt for it. And it comes incomplete, overshooting Golden Tate. That's hard to do.
Yeah, it is. This is the one route we've only really seen from Golden Tate this year. Really a converted running back, still learning how to play wide receiver. And the defensive coaches, though, USC, was saying this week about Golden Tate, you better know when he's in the game because he can affect the outcome. 4 catches, over 100 yards on those catches on the season.
So Jeff Price in punt formation for the Irish. You saw his numbers, averaging 41.1 on 44 punts. And McKnight deep for the Trojans. McKnight lost the football. Flag is down. It was David Bruton sprinting downfield that hit McKnight right away. The ball came loose. Still a scrum trying to get possession of the football. Meanwhile, the yellow laundry is on the field. Will be SC's ball. They recovered as McKnight comes up with it. Here's McKnight, number 4, who wears number 40 when he's on punt coverage.
Comes up limping a little bit. He was going to be a big part of the USC offense today.
Punt return last week, instrumental in their come-from-behind win over Arizona.
And he was supposed to be, touched the ball 15 times today for the Trojans.
Still waiting for the penalty call.
Illegal block at the back by the return team. Half the distance to the goal from the end of the run. First down.
So this is another thing that's really embattered the Trojans the last 3 games is penalties. They've had a whole slew of penalties the last 3 weeks.
So things have not looked good early for the Trojans, who come into Notre Dame Stadium about a 17-point favorite. McKnight able to corral it finally, but the Trojans will be in a hole when we return. Nearly 4 minutes into the game, no score as Joe McKnight being tended to over on the Trojan sideline. Second possession for USC. They begin at their own 10-yard line. Alan Bradford in at tailback. Instead, it's the fullback. And Havili with the carry. Gets a good gain on first down. Should be enough for the first down on forward progress. Havili with his 8th carry of the season.
Yeah, 23, you talk about a productive guy. 23 touches of the ball before that one, Tom, and 4 touchdowns. I mean, they use the fullback. USC uses the fullback a little differently than most teams. They use him a lot more, first of all, but he's primarily a receiver, then a runner, then kind of a pass blocker, and then finally a lead blocker. And they'll line him up all over the field. Much different use of the fullback.
Havili out of the game now with 3 wide receivers. Play action fake. Sanchez rolls, delivers, caught by Hazelton. Hazelton with a nice cutback. And then caught from behind and down, but it's another Trojan first down. This one crosses the 40-yard line, a gain of 21 yards.
Well, we were talking to Steve Sarkisian, the offensive coordinator of USC this week, and he was talking about Vidal Hazelton, and he said, we want to see more from him. And they're going to give him some chances to run after the catch. Where it really turns into a running back after the catch. Big cushion on Hazelton allowed him to make that run. They want to see him do a lot more of that. I think he's very capable of doing it. Hasn't done it yet.
Trojans putting up some big plays on this drive. They've advanced from their 10 out to their own 42 in 3 plays. Play action fake. Sanchez has the man wide open in the flat. It's Havili again. And the big fullback pounding ahead for another Trojan first down.
As I said, only 7 carries for today's game, before today's game, but 11-yard average, 2 touchdowns. He had 16 catches before this one, Tom, 2 TDs. Just, you know, as a versatile a player as they have on their team.
Broke the tackle by Lambert. Finally, Justin Brown able to chase him down. As Havili gets 12 and another Trojan first down. They're into Irish territory. 3 plays, 3 first downs for USC. They get Joe McKnight in at tailback. So McKnight shaken up as he received the last punt. Ready to go and gets the handoff. McKnight nowhere to go. The Irish collapsing for a loss of a couple. Trevor Laws was right there.
Yeah, running left where we usually see Sam Baker, the left tackle, the 2-time All-American for USC, but in his place, Butch Lewis, redshirt freshman. We talked about Trevor Laws, and you mentioned him in the lineups. No defensive lineman in the country has more tackles than Trevor Laws. Averages 8 a game. Steve Sarkisian was talking this week, Tom. He said, he's the offensive coordinator. Said that old 98, he's been there, seems like 8 or 9 years.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? He's been in the backfield, which seems like 8 or 9 years.
You're right.
Second down. McKnight, again nowhere to go. The green jerseys pounce all over him back into Trojan territory.
You know, Joe McKnight's got to stay with the hole, right? You always think about these young guys coming out of high school, these dynamic players really trying to hit home runs every play. Sometimes 4-yard gains are okay, right? Wasn't much of a hole there because Zibikowski, number 9, was right there in the hole.
Right there to fill it, wasn't he?
But that means if Zibikowski's up there making the tackle, there's got to be something in the secondary. He's the strong safety.
So McKnight from River Ridge, Louisiana. His family lost everything in Katrina. And Pete Carroll telling us that he's had a bit of adjustment period, as you would expect, from high school to the college game. They think he has unbelievable potential.
6 defensive backs in now for the Irish.
3rd and long. Sanchez has a man wide open on a crossing route, but he's taken down. Osbury made the catch. And the sure tackle means another punting situation for SC. It was Ambrose Wooden that made the tackle.
Well, a nice tackle by Ambrose Wooden and a nice play. The last time these two teams met, everybody remembers that 4th and 9 where Matt Leinart threw it to Jarrett. It was on Ambrose Wooden, but that time, a terrific tackle by Ambrose Wooden.
So Woidnick is on to punt to Tom Zibikowski. Second punt of the day for Greg Woidnick. Gronkowski says get away from it. It's short, and this time takes an Irish bounce and will be down still deep in territory by Clay Matthews. Scoreless game. This season, the Notre Dame experience extends to NBCSports.com a half hour before every game. Watch the Vonage Notre Dame countdown to kickoff. And during the game, get Notre Dame updates and news sent right to your phone. Just text ND to 51515. After the game, check out the coaches' press conferences on the Vonage postgame report. Also, NBCSports.com now features classic Notre Dame games. For the complete Notre Dame experience, go to NBCSports.com all season long. Last punt for SC only covered 23 yards. So Notre Dame will take over at its own 22-yard line. Flag down. Free play for Sharpley. And a loss on the play as he completes it to Travis Thomas.
Well, we talked about Notre Dame last year being such a good screen team. Just have not been this year. We talked to Charlie Weiss. He said, we have been throwing the ball down the field very well, so everybody's crowding the line of scrimmage. That's why we aren't screening well.
Offside, number 4 on the defense, 5-yard penalty, replay first down.
Kevin Ellison coming from a safety spot for a safety blitz, called for the offside as we check in with Alex Flanagan for an update on Joe McKnight.
Tom, McKnight appeared to be trying to take himself out of the game on USC's third down play, but he stayed in, clearly suffering some pain. I've been told he has a contusion, or better known as a bruise, on his right upper leg. We'll keep an eye on it. Trainers working with him to try and get him back in.
All right, Alex, thank you very much. Meanwhile, 1st and 5 now for the Irish after the offside penalty. Hand it to Schwab, the fullback. And he gets a couple of yards maybe on a tough carry, only his 5th carry of this season.
Now we talked about USC being penalized in this 3-game stretch. That's been part of the issues they've had. We've seen a couple of them today. First 3 games, 62 yards a game. But the last 3 games, almost 100 yards. That's an awful lot to overcome. But Coach Carroll was saying to us yesterday, he thinks his team has reached the nadir, on the rise.
We've had our dip, is the way he put it. So
I guess that was the word he used. Didn't use nadir, did it?
3 penalties for 20 yards today. Oh, play in the backfield made when it looked like Notre Dame had something going. On the pitch to Thomas, Lawrence Jackson stops him for a loss of 2.
A good play by Lawrence Jackson, the senior defensive end. He actually got some help from Kevin Ellison on the blitz, who kind of cleared out the traffic to allow Lawrence Jackson. Really good run defense again for USC. And you see what Notre Dame did last at the NCAA, only 32 yards a game. USC 5th in run defense. So they're going to have to manufacture a running game somehow, but it's going to come down to Evan Sharpley making some plays and creating some turnovers on defense if the Irish are going to win.
Well, presented with a 1st and 5, they now find themselves in 3rd down and 6. Sharpley, protection breaks down as he throws it, and it's broken up at the last minute. Nice defensive play again. Intended for Robbie Paris, as Sharpley was knocked on the seat of his pants.
Well, he was almost broken in 2, Evan Sharpley. And I think it was Cedric Ellis, number 49, who just keeps battling, hits him. Sharpley did a great job of getting rid of that ball. Pretty good throw by Evan Sharpley under the circumstances.
And Mosique McCurtis with the hit on Paris to knock the ball loose, bringing up this Jeff Price punt.
Knight back now, and not back to accept this punt return.
It's Reed, the 22. Price sails this one. Reed fields it at the 29. Got away from the first man. Does a 360 and is down at about the 32-yard line. And then Travis Thomas downfield covering. 45-yard punt, only 4 on the return. 3rd possession upcoming for the Trojans. Just under 6 minutes to go, opening quarter. The men of Troy have the ball at their own 32-yard line, their 3rd possession of this first half. Mark Sanchez continues at quarterback, Chauncey Washington in at tailback. Fake to Washington, Sanchez rolls, delivers, the pass caught by Davis, and the big tight end rumbling for about 5 yards on 1st down.
Okay, Fred Davis is a good story for the Trojans. A guy in his freshman year from Toledo, Ohio. Really had struggled with homesickness. Went back before their playoff or their bowl game against the Orange Bowl. Went home, almost came back. Then he came back late. Coach Carroll benched him, didn't let him make the trip. but he has really emerged this senior season. 29 catches for a tight end and averaging over 17 yards a catch. I mean, he can really get downfield.
Well, he came to SC as a wide receiver, so we know he can get downfield despite the fact he's bulked up to 250 pounds. Play action fake. Sanchez sets up a little screen, it appeared, caught by Turner. Was that a wide receiver screen, or was it just finding a crossing route? He goes for 6 yards before Wooden makes the tackle. Alex?
Hey, Tom, Pat mentioned that Fred Davis is one of the top tight end prospects in the country. He came to USC wanting to be a wide receiver, but he talked to then offensive coordinator Norm Chow, who knew he had talent, but he didn't fit at wide receiver, Chow thought, because he thought he was just getting too big. Chow recognized he was the perfect size for tight end, and here he is.
We talk about Stanley Havili kind of lining up all over the place. Now as a wide receiver, as a slot back at the last play.
First down pass. This is Havili. Unable to get away from the Irish that time. Terrell Lambert was the first to hit him.
A good tackle by Terrell Lambert. I had a nice conversation with Terrell yesterday. You mentioned he's from Southern California. I like what he said after he came back from his visit home when they played UCLA. Terrell Lambert said, you know, nothing like being at home. You get the soul food, you get the In-N-Out burger, the fat burger, the traffic, and that smell of smog.
John David Booty on the SC sideline with the broken middle finger of his right hand. Pete Carroll saying he could play, but it would help him heal up if he didn't have to play today. Second down and 8. Hand off to Washington. Irish pretty tough against the run so far today.
Well, you know, if there's a bright side for Notre Dame, really it has been their defense. I mean, we've talked about how they've been put on the field way too long because of their offensive struggles. The opponents have actually had 6 more minutes of time of possession each game, but they've rallied. They have really rallied and improved over the last 2 games. You see, forced turnovers over the last 2 weeks, 8. First 5 games, just 9. All the numbers rising positively for the Irish defense.
Third down, Sanchez missed his first pass. He's now hit 7 in a row. Sanchez given protection, finds Davis, and he fumbles the ball, and it's recovered by the Irish. They say no, incomplete pass.
Official said he was juggling it as he went down.
Ambrose Wooden, the man that hit him, to knock it loose. So it goes as an incomplete pass after Sanchez had hit 7 in a row.
The second good tackle by number 22, Ambrose Wooden. Didn't have possession of it just yet. Good defensive series for the Irish.
Woidnick to punt for the 3rd time. It's off a pretty good one, then it kind of hangs up into the wind.
That hit an Irish player.
It did, and Notre Dame touched it, so it's going to be a recovery for the Trojans, I believe. Chauncey Washington. Was it Washington? No, it was, yes, it was Washington downfield.
Yeah, I think they've got double numbers. I think it's Vincent Joseph on special teams. Tom, there's 2 23s for USC. On special teams, it's 23. It's Vincent Joseph. Watch the Irish player get hit. It was right there. He got hit. Ball comes loose. And then it's Joseph, number 23, who makes the recovery.
Thanks, Ben.
Top of the screen, you bet.
Duplicate numbers.
A lot of duplicate numbers. You know, and that's not a bad play. It's just an unlucky play for the Irish. The unluck of the Irish, if you will.
It was Munir Prince. Saw the ball bounce off of him and into the arms of the Trojans. So the men of Troy, first down. Sanchez for the end zone.
Oh, my gosh.
And a one-handed Davis snag for the touchdown over Zbikowski.
What a catch by the tight end, Fred Davis. Just got an inkling when we were talking to Steve Sarkisian the other day that Fred Davis is going to have a big part of this game plan. They fake a quick pass, and then they tried to fool the defense. Really didn't fool him terribly well because Zbikowski had reasonably good coverage. It was just a remarkable one-handed stab by the tight end, Fred Davis. Wow. You know, for Notre Dame, there's no margin for error, Tom, for them to be able to win games this year. And 1 turnover already today in his first half.
And David Bueller's extra point is good. And so Prince had the ball touch him on the punt. Turnover. USC converts. 7-0 USC. Notre Dame turns it over, receiving a punt. And USC with a sparkling catch by Fred Davis, the touchdown. David Beeler adds the extra point, and it's 7-0 Trojans.
Good pump fake by Mark Sanchez and the lofted throw to his tight end, Fred Davis.
Beeler set to kick it off. Allen and Jabby, the deep men for the Irish. Armando Allen didn't field it cleanly, but picks it up and finds a little seam. Now cuts to the sideline and is pushed out of bounds by the kicker Beeler, who saved perhaps a touchdown, a 33-yard return.
Well, the Irish have been waiting for a spark all year long from Armando Allen. Charlie Weissing, one of the fastest guys we have on our team, and they get it there. A good change of the ball from the right hand to the left hand as well. So that's the spark. Sometimes it comes in special teams, sometimes it comes a defensive turnover, and that time it came from Armando Allen on a kickoff return.
And Allen remains in the game at tailback for the Irish, who start just short of midfield. Here's the carry by Allen. You know how tough SC is against the run, and he got only a couple of yards. Give Armando Allen maybe 3 yards. The freshman from Opelika, Florida. That's his 36th carry of the season. Gained 126 yards coming in.
They really tried to get him out in the open field, particularly on screens, but that really hasn't worked either. Under 4 yards per reception on 16 catches this year.
Two tight end formation. Pitch it to Allen. Allen ducks to the outside, still going. Slammed out of bounds after he got into Trojan territory. Lawrence Jackson, the man to put the final hit on Armando Allen.
A good, hard run by Armando Allen. Think of him kind of as a speed guy, at least that's what we've been led to believe. Haven't seen enough of him, but good. He finished this run pretty well, picking up an extra couple yards.
Gives them a manageable third down and 3. You see the numbers on Allen. All at the Trojan 49.
A bunch of tight ends up here.
Sharpley's pass caught by George West. Nice catch by West, who had to sort of turn around backwards to get it, but he made the reception, his 15th of the season, in front of Thomas.
Yeah, nice scheme for the Irish, too. It just circled the 3 tight ends up the top of the screen, overloaded the top, cushion by Terrell Thomas. Good scouting, and a particularly good catch by George West.
And it gives the Irish a first down beyond that yellow line. Today's first down line brought to you by Xerox. First down Irish at the SC 43-yard line. Schwab, the lone running back. Schwab with a block, but not enough. And Sharpley is lucky that Thomas didn't sack him. As it was, he hit his arm and forced the pass incomplete. But Asaph Schwab trying to protect Evan Sharpley, and Thomas right by him.
Yeah, right off the corner, a corner blitz, just ran right around him. And then Thomas Williams up the middle as well. So the linebacker 41 and the corner on the blitz. Remember, this is a team, Notre Dame, that's really struggled protecting their quarterbacks, particularly against the blitz. 34 sacks on the season they've given up, nearly 5 a game.
Now been forced the incompletion at 2nd down and 10. Sharpley, good protection this time. Now chased from the pocket. SC tried to strip it. He got back to the 45-yard line, with Boala making the Notre Dame or the USC tackle, as Sharpley having to scramble that time.
Must have been pretty good coverage in the defensive backfield, because, boy, he had plenty of time to get rid of that ball. Just a 4-man rush that time. It's a guy open right there. Sharpley just can't get the ball to him.
3rd down and 12. Thomas back in at running back. He's there for pass protection and gives Sharpley a block. Able to hit a man crossing, but well short of the first down. It was caught by Paris, but it's going to be about 9 yards short of first down territory.
Good zone defense, good tackle by Kaluka Mahava. one of their, I think they have 8,000 linebackers. They kind of come in waves and all play pretty doggone well.
Mayava, number 43, the Hawaiian, made the trip to Los Angeles.
Troy Polamalu, another great safety, or number 43 for USC as well.
Best ever at Pittsburgh Steelers now. Price with the punt. Reed's going to let it go. And will hit the end zone on the fly. So the touchback means SC starts at its own 20-yard line with 45 seconds left in the first quarter.
Let's go back and look at the excitement on Mark Sanchez after this touchdown. Got a perfect lob. I mean, he's got a strong arm, but that was just a really good touch. But coaches say, you know, he's really high energy, he's spirited. They love this about him. You know, a little different temperament than their other quarterback, John David Booty. And his team has responded the last game and a half for Mark Sanchez. Nice start for Sanchez as well.
That touchdown pass is second of the season.
What percentage is that, Tom?
That's good.
That's the easy one, 8 of 10.
Stephon Johnson, who's been sidelined with injury. He had a foot bruise. He was stepped on in the Washington game, but back on the field for the Trojans. Tackled by Tom Zibikowski. Stephon Johnson, the leading rusher on the season for the Trojans, with 46 carries, now 47 for 378 yards and 4 touchdowns.
He grew up less than 9 miles away from USC at Dorsey High School in South Central. And you always think about all these flashy guys that Pete Carroll has had over the year, but he's always wanted a running back that can pound it. And Stephon Johnson is one of those guys.
Got 4 yards on first down, making it 2nd and 6. Sanchez behind Ausberry and incomplete.
A tough catch for David Ausberry. One of the big receivers for USC. You know, they all go 6'4" or above.
And that'll be the final play of the first quarter with SC leading 7-0. We'll be back after these messages from your local NBC station. You're watching Notre Dame football on NBC. Looks like everybody's wearing green today. So far, it hasn't helped the Irish. Their one touchdown in the game resulted in an Irish miscue, which gave SC a 1st and goal inside the Notre Dame 10. They converted on a pass from Sanchez to Davis. 7-0 USC. First play of the second quarter. Sanchez rifles it complete. Pass caught by Ausberry, and a good-looking pass from Sanchez for 8 yards.
How about Mark Sanchez in this first quarter? 5 different receivers caught passes. That just makes a team really difficult to defend. Fullbacks, tight ends, wide receivers, in the pocket, outside the pocket, and then the real nice touch to give the Trojans the lead. Really played remarkably well. 9 of 12 thus far, 84 yards with a touch.
First down from the SC 34-yard line. Fullback Havili bouncing to the outside, turning ahead to the 40-yard line. Nice gain on first down for Stanley Havili.
They really didn't have a fullback available last year. 3 different fullbacks went down with injuries. And
like Ohio State's up early, and Florida leading Kentucky. UCLA 3 points up on Cal. The other scores here in this crazy college football season. Makes it fun. You never know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, well, that's what the Irish fans are hoping for today.
Irish came in 17-point underdogs to the Trojans, who are looking for their 6th straight win at the expense of Notre Dame. Sanchez across the middle. Too much steam on that one, intended for Patrick Turner.
Too high
and hard.
Yeah, he had him. And it's hard to overthrow these wide receivers for USC because they're so tall. Patrick Turner goes 6'5". We mentioned Ausberry at 6'4".
That was John Ryan putting the pressure on Sanchez.
Really looking for Patrick Turner to take the next step in his evolution as a wide receiver. You'll see the height of the USC wide receivers. They want Patrick Turner to make plays like this on 3rd down in critical situations, making some tough catches.
3rd down and 4. They send Hazelton in motion. Sanchez, tip pass, batted down at the line of scrimmage.
Well, that's 2.
2 passes batted down the line of scrimmage.
And both, was that by Trevor Law? No, that was still second one by Pat Kuntz. So that's 2 by Kuntz right in here. And that's 9 for the year. Now, it looked like USC had a receiver open, so it's one of those little things, Tom. Little things. You bring the punt team on, otherwise that's a first down.
I've heard of specialists, but that's ridiculous.
Block
It's
punt.
block punt. And the Irish have it deep in SC territory as Charlie Weis telling us they're going to be aggressive on special teams. They go for the punt block, and they get it.
Yeah, and there, this is
David Bruton, was it?
Yeah, I believe so, and they're commemorating right up the gut. And it was David Bruton, who's had a terrific year on special teams, just kind of took it away.
He did, didn't he? He snatched it out of midair almost.
These green jerseys commemorating the 1977 team. Well, against USC, they blocked 2 punts against USC, one of them for a touchdown.
So the Irish, with the block punt, get the ball at the SC 29-yard line.
David Bruton has really been good on special teams this season.
Handoff to Travis Thomas. Thomas, who has kept his enthusiasm and a classy approach as a fifth-year senior. He came back. He hasn't been playing that much. Made the switch from linebacker last year after he had been rotating back and forth, offense, defense, now back to offense. Didn't start, hadn't played that much, but getting the start today for his toughness, and especially for his blitz pickup as well. Showed you his toughness there, and not much there, but turned ahead for a gain of a couple of yards.
A couple of years ago, he played pretty well against USC in that classic game here.
I talked to him yesterday, and the fifth-year senior from Washington, Pennsylvania, very positive, and a tribute to him. Keeping his head up. Fake the toss sharply. Caught from behind by the shoe tops. It was Maluga, Ray Malaluga, who had been injured.
Yeah, wasn't expected really to play much today, Ray Malaluga. Okay, for a guy who's 250 pounds, Ray Malaluga has closing speed like a defensive back. Good pass rush.
Sharpley saw a lot of territory open there, but Malaluga with the come from behind tackle on the ankles makes it 3rd down and 11. Sharpley rolling to his right, his pass on target, caught by Kamara, just short of the first down it would appear. Kamara taken out of bounds by Taylor Mays, and Charlie Weis with a decision to make here.
Well, when you're one, he's going to bring on the field goal team. But I think if you're USC, 1-6 team, you can just be careful of anything. Watch for a fake field goal.
Sharply on the sideline, nearly picked it up. A 40-yard field goal attempt by Brandon Walker, and a timeout taken by the Irish. So the Irish line up for maybe a field goal attempt when we come back. Notre Dame blocked a USC punt, their first block punt since the SC game last year. But the drive stalls, and now as we come back to play, a 40-yard field goal attempt by Brandon Walker, who's hit 4 of 6 field goals this year, his longest from 48. And it's blocked by SC.
I think he went really low, Tom. Really low. Had no chance. Lawrence Jackson has had a history of blocking kicks for USC. Watch how low this ball comes out. 3 white jerseys there. Oh, I think got it.
Back at Notre Dame Stadium, 7-0. SC takes over after blocking the Notre Dame field goal attempt. And Moala was there, but credit given to 47, Clay Matthews. Famous name in SC football history. His dad, Clay, was on the national championship team for the Trojans and an All-American and an NFL player. His uncle played as well. As Stephon Johnson gets the carry on first down.
Stephon Johnson's one of those stories about persistence, Tom. Last year he came in as a freshman, highly recruited, and got in that logjam with about 3,427 tailbacks at USC. Didn't get a chance to carry the ball much, but, just kind of changed his attitude, didn't threaten to transfer, worked harder, got his chance in training camp, and has made the most of it. Leading rusher on the team and averaging almost 100 yards a game.
Trojans have an embarrassment of riches at tailback. No surprise. That's the tradition. On a blitz, Notre Dame doesn't quite get there in time, and Sanchez completes it to Turner, who holds on despite the tough hit from Walls and others.
Coach Pete Carroll was saying, hey, things are looking up for us, and it's catches like that, little plays like that. A couple of weeks ago, Patrick Turner may have dropped that ball. And he did that early in the year, but Coach Carroll was saying, hey, we're getting guys healthy. Guys are beginning to play better, and he really likes, the opportunity for them to surge starting today at the end of the year.
35-yard line, just short of the first down. It's 3rd and 1. Fullback Havili, and he pounds ahead for the Trojan first down. As Pete Carroll, the SC coach, talks about his running game.
I think we have a chance to really get strong here in the next couple of weeks. We have a lot of guys coming back. We may have hit our dip already in the season, and now we're ready to start battling. I'm anxious to see how we respond again this week. I think we can really start making a swing here and take a shot at this thing.
Getting Stephon Johnson back, getting some of his offensive linemen back, and some defenders as well.
Oh, some confusion. Open receiver up here.
Sanchez pumps once.
Zbikowski
going down the sideline and overshoots McKnight.
Boy, they got the matchup they want, but Zbikowski was signaling for help. He didn't like the matchup. He saw number 4, Joe McKnight, out there, said, hey, we're in the wrong coverage. We're in the wrong coverage. You see him, he's right there. You see him waving his arms. Hey, wrong coverage. I shouldn't be out here, but he does a pretty good job of staying with Joe McKnight.
He was able to basically run right with him, although
yeah.
Pass from Sanchez overshoots the speedy McKnight, who's been in and out of the game today with a bruise, back on the sideline. And
nobody covering that guy right there.
Sanchez went that way.
Yeah,
Savili, the fullback, and Bruton, sensing that, broke on the football perfectly.
Well, maybe David Bruton was kind of egging Sanchez on, just like he did me.
Playing possum.
Yeah, and he fooled me. It looked like it was going to be an easy completion, but David Bruton, the man who blocked the punt just a few plays ago, makes another play on defense right here. Watch him jump on this slant. He closes that gap, almost picks it off.
So it sets up another 3rd down. 3rd and long for the Trojans. Bruton having an outstanding season for the Irish defense. Sanchez threw it into the helmet of a Notre Dame defender just as he was going down. Brian Smith with that speed off the edge, bearing down on Sanchez.
And Brian Smith and Kerry Neal, those two freshman linebackers, bookends. They both got a piece of them. That's a good matchup for Notre Dame. Brian Smith, who's a freshman, against an offensive tackle, Bruce Lewis, and is starting his first game at left tackle.
The punt by Wardnick. Zbikowski. Zibby hit hard but won't go down immediately, and then taken to the turf at the 30-yard line. 41-yard punt, 10 yards on the return. Irish ball when we come back. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Chevy, an American Revolution. By Lincoln Financial Group, for the means and financial confidence to say, hello, future. By Warner Brothers' new motion picture, Fred Claus, in theaters everywhere, Friday, November 9th. And by Allstate, proud sponsors of college football. Are you in good hands? Notre Dame taking over, trailing SC 7-0. 9:54 on the clock for the first half. Evan Sharpley, good protection, steps in the pocket, deflected and almost intercepted. Intended for Kamara, and nearly picked off. Coming up at halftime, the Toyota Halftime Show, as Chris Collinsworth will join us to talk about Week 7 of the NFL, along with our friends from the NFL Network, Rich Eisen, Deion Sanders, Marshall Faulk, Steve Mariucci. We'll no doubt talk about Sunday Night Football with a good game tomorrow night in Denver, the Broncos and the Steelers. It's all coming up on the Toyota Halftime Show.
You know, Tom, Notre Dame's just going to have to get a little bit more production on first down. Getting these 2nd and longs, 3rd and longs.
It's been a season-long problem, hasn't it? Sharpley underneath the coverage. Short completion, 5 yards.
You get a manageable 3rd down, right?
It'll make it about 3rd and 5 when we come back.
It's been a tough year on offense, ranked last in almost every offensive category. But tough start again today. 4 series, 4 punts, or 3 punts and a blocked field goal. Even when they had that good field position. And Charlie's as frustrated as anybody. We talked to him this week, says, I've never been around an offensive team like this. And he said, I'm going to keep trying to change things and try to solve the equation.
On 3rd down and 4, Sharpley in the pocket. Overshoots Schwab as fullback. Would have been a 1st down.
I think about a play a couple years ago going the other way when Schwab dropped the pass in that game against USC that would have kept the drive alive. Good protection for Evan Sharpley.
Schwab couldn't handle it, took a hit from Ellison to boot. So Price is on for another punt. His 4th of the afternoon. Reed deep for the Trojans. Reed gathers it in and immediately upended at the 20-yard line.
There's old Mike Anello, the walk-on.
Anello, the walk-on, who's drawn raves from the Notre Dame coaching staff. 43-yard punt with no return thanks to the hit by Anello, the walk-on, who was requested by the media this week. Here's the play again, and Charlie Weiss teasing him said, we've reached a new low when the media have asked to speak to you, a lowly walk-on.
Yeah, they call him Rudy. He wears Rudy's old number 45. Injured Irish player on the field, Tom, about the 40-yard line. Here's Anello, really smart kid, 3.8 finance major.
Coach Weiss says he's the smartest kid on the team. He said he'll be making millions someday as a giant of industry. Charlie Weiss loves him. And that's David Bruton, who was shaken up on the play. Can't afford to lose him. David Bruton trying to shake it off as he walks to the Notre Dame sideline.
Yeah, he's one of their gunners. They call him the right gunner. He says, oh, just pulled the hammer.
Yeah, he did.
Grabbed the hamstring.
Pulling up lane.
On punt coverage, now as he is starting free safety, he has been a force on punt coverage.
He'll be replaced by Kyle McCarthy, 6', 200-pound junior from Youngstown, Ohio. Well, the SC offense has had 6 possessions. They've had to punt 5 times.
It's a punt fest.
Their TD came on a turnover by the Irish. Sanchez rolling after the play fake and spotting Davis, the tight end, for another 1st down.
Well, you know, Fred Davis is, we talked about him being a converted wide receiver, going from right to left. USC runs to so many plays, high and low, here and here. Davis to get man open that time, and also very, very good after the catch this year, this entire season for Fred Davis.
12-yard gain and a 1st down. Our 1st down line brought to you today by Xerox.
We talked about this being a different kind of team for USC. All those with the Reggie Bushes, the Matt Leinarts, they're not going to have all those big plays they've had for the last 5 or 6 years. They're going to be a little bit more methodical and play tighter games, I think.
2 seconds, 1 on the play clock. They got it away. Sanchez reversing his field. A lot of room to roam. And Sanchez diving for the Trojan 1st down in front of Maurice Crum, who was in hot pursuit. It's a gain of 12.
Is he one of those guys that looks like he's having fun when he's playing? You know, just draw something up in the dirt, call something, coach, I'll improvise if I have to. They're faking to actually nobody, but Chauncey Washington kind of picked up a blitzing guy. Pretty good athlete, as you see, Mark Sanchez.
Look at his armband flopping in the wind,
yeah.
is he?
Yeah, but he just, he's just having some fun. High energy guy. Teammates kind of feed off it. 2 more years of eligibility.
1st down, SC 45. Sanchez with the fake and plenty of time, then has to throw underneath. It's complete to Washington out of the backfield. Alex?
Hey, Tom, every time that Mark Sanchez is on the sideline, he spends a considerable amount of time with John David Booty. He said that in his first start last week against Arizona, Booty was right there in his ear helping him the whole time. He talked to us this week about how much he's really learned about what goes into playing the position of quarterback. He said he didn't really learn that until last week against Arizona. Patty talked a lot about the intangibles and how much that's really helped him.
Yeah, all the little things that go into making a quarterback.
Talking to his teammates on the sidelines earlier. Now set up for a second down play just short of midfield. Chauncey Washington grabbed with the jersey, got away. He'll get a first down run before he's taken down by the Notre Dame defense.
Think about playing quarterback here at USC now. You know, you've had Carson Palmer win a Heisman Trophy, Matt Leinart win a Heisman Trophy, John David Booty played awfully well last year. Now Mark Sanchez. Like being a model going down the runway after Heidi Klum, it's hard to get noticed.
Irish 43-yard line. SC puts it in play with a first down. Sanchez has had a good first half. Tailback Washington. Bursting through the hole for a moment and a good run on first down. Joe Brockington finally stopped him, and that's the key that Notre Dame has been missing, that good first down gain to set up manageable second and third. Near the end of today's game, we'll select the Chevrolet players of the game from each team. To honor their determination and outstanding play, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Chevy, an American revolution.
And Tom, this is a really important defensive series for Notre Dame, I think. They're only down by 7, but we said they've really been blown out this year in the first half. They've got to keep this game manageable here in the last 6 minutes of the second quarter.
Fake. Sanchez launches. Caught by Turner, and he holds on when he's hit by Darren Walls for a 14-yard gain.
Boy, when Pete Carroll said that Mark Sanchez has the strongest arms since Carson Palmer, you see it right here. Perfect protection, gets able to step right into it, and then just absolutely drills it to Patrick Turner. This just isn't fair for a defensive back. You get that much protection and that good a throw, you just don't have a chance.
So the Trojans continue their drive. It's advanced now to the Notre Dame 21-yard line. First down. Sanchez has hit 6 different receivers today. Spreading that ball around and making it tough to defend. Irish show blitz. Sanchez got rid of it for Davis, but he can't catch up to it. Incomplete.
Good blitz by the Irish, gets right in the face of Mark Sanchez. You mentioned the 6 different receivers, talking to Steve Sarkisian, the offensive coordinator. So, you know, in our offense, we just want him to be the point guard. You know, just to dish it to the open guy here and there, lead the team. Don't feel like you have to win the game on every single throw.
Trojans in the student end of the field with a second down and 10.
And single coverage down here.
That's on Hazelton. Sanchez looks across the middle, and a flag is down as Davis makes the catch just short of the goal line. If it stands, it would be 18 yards. It would be first and goal Trojans unless the penalty nullifies.
Illegal position by the offense. Only 6 men on the line. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
6 men on the line. That's a second big throw to Fred Davis. It's been nullified by a penalty. Yeah, let's see. I can't see them all here. 1, 2. There's going to be that's a little too tight to do that. But the official was right there. I actually thought the man in the slot, Fred Davis, actually was going toward the line of scrimmage. I thought that was the penalty they were going to call on him.
All right, it's 2nd and 15. The Irish have played penalty-free so far.
Yeah, Irish need a sack. And here are those linebackers they put in the three-point stance and let them go after the quarterback.
Pitch it to Johnson. Stefan Johnson using his blockers well. Inside the 10-yard line. First and goal for the Trojans, a 17-yard run.
There was a hole, Will Ferrell could have run through that thing. There was a giant hole on the left side, collapsed by Butch Lewis, Jeff Byers, lead block by Havili. Talk about Havili, all the different things he does, that time on the lead block. So he's caught some balls, run the ball well, that time on the lead block. Steve Sarkisian, offensive coordinator, turned down the Raider head coaching job this past offseason to come back to be offensive coordinator for USC.
First and goal, 9-yard line. Johnson.
Good play. It was Trevor Laws.
Trevor Laws caught him from behind, took him down after maybe a yard gain.
You know, it's amazing. We've watched Trevor Laws for 4 years now, and everybody knows, he's a great penetrator. But nobody, that, but you can't block him. One of those guys, you just cannot block Trevor Laws, and even if you do, he just does not stay blocked.
Second and goal at the 8.
The tackles for losses, the fumble recovers. He's blocked 2 kicks this year, 5 in his career. Warren Brown, the defensive coordinator.
2nd down and goal from the 8. Alan Bradford in at running back. Fake it to him. Sanchez rolls to his right, then throws it to Bradford, who juggles, dives for the end zone. Touchdown!
Those have been 2 awfully good catches for touchdowns for USC. The ball was thrown behind Alan Bradford. And the tight end Fred Davis earlier made a one-handed acrobatic catch. So a tight end this time, the fullback, all the action going one way. You're going to see him go right out here. It can be wide open. Good play design by Steve Sarkisian, the offensive coordinator, but what an adjustment by Alan Bradford. Not used as much as he would probably like. But boy, he has been productive when he's given a chance.
That's his 3rd touchdown, his 2nd receiving touchdown of the season, as Beeler lines up and hits the extra point. Well, that was an impressive drive by the Trojans. They march downfield, and Bradford catches the touchdown pass. 2nd touchdown pass of the game for Mark Sanchez. 14-zip SC. $14-0 on 2 Mark Sanchez touchdown passes. The last one to Bradford for 8 yards. The 7th Trojan to catch a pass from Sanchez today.
Just kind of oozes leadership, doesn't he, Mark Sanchez?
10 plays, 79 yards, 5 minutes, never facing a 3rd down on that last drive.
How do you keep track of those things?
Yeah.
Remarkable, Tom.
A crew of thousands.
You need them.
Beeler will kick it off. Allen fields it in the end zone, fumbles it for a moment, and then takes a knee to start from the 20.
Yeah, let's take a look at both the SC touchdown passes by Mark Sanchez, and while the quarterback gets a lot of credit for him, but I think these are 2 remarkable catches. The first one by Fred Davis, the one-handed stab. They don't get any better than that unless you want to add this one. Alan Bradford just had to really kind of turn all the way around to make the catch and then get in the end zone. So, and how about the reaction by Mark Sanchez?
So with Jeff Byers, his left guard.
Part linebacker, part quarterback.
Evan Sharpley now on 1st down, faking one way, setting up a screen. John Carlson on the tight end screen. Nets only about 3 yards before he's tackled by Moala. Fielding Moala with the tackle of John Carlson. As the Irish come down to the 3.5-minute mark, Jimmy Clausen.
A good learning experience for him today. You know, he started a bunch, the heralded freshman out of Southern California, really banged up, struggled, and Charlie's decided to sit him today, but good learning experience, even if you're not playing, watching and getting the feel.
As Evan Sharpley did behind Brady Quinn, saying he learned a lot. That pass from Sharpley not good. Too low and misses by Robbie Paris. Alex?
Hey, Tom, I got a chance to speak to Brady Quinn this week and catch up with him, asked him a little bit about Evan. He says that he's spoken to Evan throughout the season, has tried to encourage him to stay confident while he was riding the bench, but he said, hey, you know what, Evan's never really lacked in confidence. He says that the one thing that he really recognized early about Evan was that he makes plays. He said that on the scout team, you could always tell that Evan was just able to make plays happen, and certainly Evan, his escapability from the rush improving since his first start, or since he's played, against Georgia Tech.
All right, Alex, you'll need to make a play here on 3rd down.
We need some more down the field throws and completions.
Not a good throw.
Yeah, no.
Incomplete, that never had a chance. I guess Paris was closest to it, and Sharpley did not look good on that series.
Remember Charlie Weiss said to us yesterday, said, you know, in our system, our quarterback should, well, the goal is to complete 67% of your passes. He's completed 54% coming in today, but only 6 of 14 today.
So Notre Dame with Sharpley at quarterback. Just 2 first downs on 6 possessions here in the first half as the offense of the Irish continues to sputter as it has all season. Price, McKnight is back deep for the Trojans. Has to run up on this one to take it at the 35. Dodging one man, getting a block, trying to get to the outside, and just prevented from getting to that spot by Yateman on special teams coverage. 42-yard punt, 5 yards on the return, but the Trojans still have almost 3 minutes to go till halftime and the ball. Notre Dame football is brought to you by the enhanced Chase Freedom credit card. Get triple rewards where you spend the most automatically. Learn more at chase.com. Tom Hammond, Pat Hayden, Alex Flanagan, Notre Dame Stadium. Approaching the end of the second quarter, just under 3 minutes left. Evan Sharpley starting at quarterback for the Irish today, but unable to get anything going. Only 2 first downs in 6 possessions. Washington. First down carry and a tough one for Chauncey Washington to the 45-yard line.
Well, you said just in the last drive when USC went down and scored, Notre Dame really had to have a good defensive series to keep this close. Look what's happened here in the first half. You know, minus 96. So once again, you know, 14 points is manageable, right? 2-score game, but 3 down. And once again, they're always swimming upstream like salmon. It's salmon, right? Not halibut? Salmon. Hammer don't swim. Halibut don't swim upstream.
Sanchez with one fake, another scrambling to his right and throwing it away.
But there's a play. I mean, the coaches, you know, in the past, they worry about him trying to make something happen too much. That's just a smart play. Get rid of the ball and have a manageable 3rd down. Pete Carroll really excited about the future for Mark Sanchez. Had a great relationship with his dad, who's named Nick, a 30-year fire captain in Orange County.
And on a search and rescue specialized unit that has worked at 9/11, Oklahoma City, and Katrina, 3 recent tragedies. Search and rescue, and a very courageous man. His son Sanchez got it to Reed, and Reed could not hold on. Yeah. Juggling the ball, and it fell incomplete, and he was ready to roam.
You're right. Desmond Reed saw nothing but end zone in front of him. And instead of catching the ball and getting there, he drops it and then takes a shot. I mean, he had a chance to go all the way because Zbikowski, you see, was going the other way. He would have crossed grain and probably run that one into the end zone.
So when they needed to make a play, the defense helped out by the drop, and here's Zbikowski picking it up on the hop.
Do we call fair catch?
Doesn't seem to matter if you watched that game last night.
You're right. You're right about that. I'm not sure what happened there, but he was running with the ball. The whistles blow. Must have said he caught a fair catch, right?
The receiver made an invalid signal for a fair catch. That makes the ball dead when possessed. First down.
Okay. Zbikowski had a punt return.
That's not just saying stay away from it.
Staying away from the ball. That's not a fair catch signal.
Stay away from it.
That's a bad call.
A fair catch signal was last night by UConn in the game against Louisville that they took for a touchdown.
Okay, Notre Dame has not gotten the ball down the field with any success here. This is the opportunity for them, right? 2 timeouts remaining, 1-6 nothing to lose. Wing it.
Well, there is something to lose, though. What, deep in your own territory here, one picked off could put you even further behind, and they don't show any sign of being able to overcome big deficits, as you know, with this anemic offense. Sharpley, wide of Kamara. Don't forget that Notre Dame Saturday kicks off a half hour before every game with a Vonage Notre Dame Countdown to Kickoff with host Paula Ferris and John Walters, and today's guests including Tim Brown, Bob Golick, and Joe Theismann. Also, Pat, Alex, and I have a game preview. You'll hear from both coaches, see the highlights of the Notre Dame Friday night pep rally. So for the full Notre Dame experience, be sure not to miss the Vonage Notre Dame Countdown to Kickoff at NBCSports.com.
How about Digger last night at the rally?
In midseason form.
He was, absolutely.
Sharpley got away from the first man. Manages to duck out of bounds. Kyle Moore in hot pursuit. Keith Rivers made the first stab at him, and he got away from him.
Remember, at the very top of the show, we said one of the reasons Evan Sharpley is starting today is because of this, escapability. I mean, he is absolutely running for his life, first from Rivers and then from Kyle Moore. Much more agile, mobile in the pocket than Jimmy Clausen.
Checking his wristband for the play call here on 3rd and 1. Short drop, and the pass deflected.
Kyle Moore, number 84, got a hand on it. Well, Kyle Moore has had a big season in the passing game, even though he's defensive end. That's his 5th deflection. Tom has also intercepted a couple of passes. You see that zone blitz more and more, where defensive ends, go back in coverage as he did just there. Hard to get it around that 6'6" wingspan.
Came all the way from Kathleen, Georgia to play at USC. So McKnight awaits the Price punt. 7 possessions, only the 2 first downs.
The 5-3 and outs.
Ouch.
Whoops.
Off the side of the foot of Jeff Price, but takes an Irish bounce. Timing is everything. Down to the 30-yard line.
That's where they wore the green jerseys.
Minute 32 left as we take a break. Sanchez back on the field in a moment.
Last year, Notre Dame actually really possessed the ball well, but look at this numbers this year. 6 more minutes for their opponents, and today it's even worse. USC with 17 minutes of possession, just 10, a little over 10 for the Irish.
Sanchez, first down pass, caught in traffic by Davis. There were about 3 men around Fred Davis.
That's a tight throw, wasn't it?
It didn't matter. 13-yard gain, first down.
Remember, USC burned 2 timeouts in the first 2 minutes of the game. 2 burned timeouts, so they only have 1 remaining with 1:25 left.
USC had a 10-play, 79-yard drive for a score. Their first score came after an Irish turnover gave them the ball first and goal at the 9. Underneath pass. Desmond Reed held on to this one and picked up another SC first down.
Good sequencing of plays, tight ends, wide receivers, backs, spreading it around. And this Notre Dame defense, again, put in a bind by just a complete lack of offense by the Irish.
Pump fake by
that guy's open.
Sanchez, and he had a man, and he stepped out of bounds. David Osbury. Looked like the defense was bearing down on him, but when he caught the pass, I mean, there wasn't a man within 10 yards of him.
No, yeah, David Osbury was opened by a good, he's up here, he's right up here, excuse me. That was going deep, and that's the, I don't know what that is, but he's open. And Sanchez fine, but how about the offensive line? We said 3 backups starting today in the offensive line, giving Mark Sanchez some pretty good protection.
8 different receivers have caught a ball from Sanchez with 1:05 left in the first half.
He's playing point guard, isn't he?
Stefan Johnson. No, excuse me, it was Havili, the fullback.
Havili from Tonga. His parents emigrated. Very emotional father, he was saying, that kind of cries before every game. He's so proud of his son.
Second and 4.
Sanchez drills it. Hazelton hangs on.
Yeah, the wide receivers for USC may be having their best game, certainly over the last 3 weeks. Suffered from a few drops, but Patrick Turner's been on, Hazelton has been on, and Mark Sanchez has been on fire.
"13-yard line now as the Notre Dame defense looks like it's wearing down. Sanchez goes for the end zone. Osbury can't catch up. Incomplete. Lambert defending for Notre Dame. And don't forget the Toyota halftime show, as our friends from the NFL Network will handle the halftime with Chris Collinsworth sitting in with Rich Eisen, Deion Sanders, Marshall Faulk, and Steve Mariucci. They'll preview week 7 of the NFL, including the Pittsburgh-Denver game on Sunday Night Football tomorrow night.
I think Chris will have a few opinions. Just a couple.
Joe McKnight back on the field for the Trojans. Second down. 2nd and 10 from the 13 with clock showing 26 seconds. Trojans still have 1 timeout. Sanchez. Incomplete.
Tip by Dwight Stevenson. Good rush by Trevor Laws.
Trevor Laws just about had him sacked. Was able to get rid of it, and I guess
I don't think
someone was close enough to it, or else he was out of the tackle box. Otherwise, it would have been grounding.
Well, I don't think it's when it's tipped, right? But
well, was it tipped?
Yeah, it was tipped.
Oh, yeah,
Stevenson tipped it.
Right.
But you know what? To me, you could give the MVP for Notre Dame season already to Trevor Laws. I know they have a bunch of games after this, but Trevor Laws has been remarkable.
Well, the Notre Dame defense called on to make 1 more play here. It's 3rd down.
They have not been able to solve the tight end, Fred Davis, who's had 4 catches already.
Sanchez with all day to throw for Hazelton. Dropped or broken up by Walls, one of the two. I'm not sure if Walls might have gotten a hand in there. Let's see.
Yeah, it was good left hand by Darren Walls. He had good, strong left hand by Darren Walls, the sophomore cornerback from Pittsburgh.
And it will force a field goal attempt by Beeler.
I'll tell you, if you're USC, you better know where number 98 is. I say it every time because he blocks a lot of field goals. Blocked one last week against Boston College.
30-yard field goal attempt. Beeler puts it up and puts it through. So in the final seconds of the first half, Pete Carroll's team drives down the field to get 3 and up their lead to 17. Sanchez greeting his teammates as they come back from the field goal attempt. He's a very emotional guy, isn't he? And telling us yesterday that now that I'm getting a chance to play, I really am feeling the emotions and feeling into it. And there's John David Booty, number 10, who is watching from the sideline. And if Sanchez continues at this pace, we'll have an extra week to heal. And maybe as Sanchez watches the field goal,
he's going to have a hard time giving the ball back to John David Booty. John David Booty played awfully well last season and really early part of this season as well. Emotional head coach, really lived by creating a lot of turnovers, 221 takeaways under the tenure of Pete Carroll. That has been the secret sauce for the Trojans over the last 7 years.
Beeler will tee it up and kick it off with 11 seconds remaining in the opening half.
Winning 11 games the last 5 years, 5 consecutive top 4 finishes.
Well, Charlie Weis continues to search for the answer to generate some offense.
Yeah, he's a man right now with a long to-do list, don't you think, Tom? Just a lot of things to try to solve.
Nothing has worked, including the quarterback switch today. Leaders kick off. Allen and Jabby are deep. It'll go into the end zone and out of the end zone for the touchback. So 11 seconds left in the first half.
And it is library quiet around here at Notre Dame Stadium.
6 of 16.
Well, I haven't seen a lot of wide receivers open, have you? I mean, I haven't seen guys running wide open through the secondary, and so it's not all Sharpling.
But I think he's missed some throws, too.
Yeah, I hear you. But
I think there's plenty of blame to go around.
Yeah. John Sullivan there, he's had a tough matchup against Cedric Ellis today. Done a pretty good job. I haven't called Cedric Ellis' name too much.
I agree. Kamara. The ball, Kamara hit hard and banged out of bounds. 6 seconds left.
Yeah, you got a hook and ladder in you, Tom, or a Boise State play up your sleeve, or a heave down the field, or
something.
Yeah. Well, I want to tell you, this is the guy you worry about. That's Golden Tate up there. That's their speedster.
If I'm even, I'm leaving.
That's what he says.
Go the other way. Kamara. 1 second left. That's the third first down by the Irish in the first half.
The Irish will get the ball to start the second half. And you talk about halftime and judge.
Good news or bad news?
Unless they're going to score 3 touchdowns on defense, they're going to have to do something on offense this second half. Now this is what you call a cushion in Golden Tate. He's got about 25-yard cushion on it.
There's the pass, caught by Golden Tate, surrounded by the Trojan defenders and taken down at the 40-yard line. So a 22-yard gain, but they let him have that under the defense, of course. And Pete Carroll sprints to the locker room with a 17-0 lead. Evan Sharpley in the Irish offense unable to get anything going in the first half. And as we go to Alex.
Charlie, what has hurt you most in the first half?
I mean, well, obviously the turnovers / hitting us on the punt team. We gave them the ball on the 10-yard line. we knew we were going to come in. We were going to try to play a ball possession game, give them a cheap one early. That's what hurt us early. Obviously, after that, we can't go 3 and out on offense, okay, because the defense was on the field way too much in the second quarter.
Your quarterback making his first start. Assess Evan Sharpley's play in the first half.
I mean, he managed the team right here, but we're going to have to make some plays to have a chance to come back and win this game.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, 17-0 SC at halftime. Rich Eisen, the NFL Network crew in the studios in Los Angeles, coming up on the Toyota halftime report. Let's go for that now to Los Angeles and join Rich Eisen. SC Trojans back on the field with a 17-point lead, getting ready to start the third quarter of the game here at Notre Dame Stadium, as Evan Sharpley will have first possession. Let's check in with Alex Flanagan.
Hey, Tom. Well, Pat was wondering earlier in this game if this might be the best performance for wide receivers on USC's team. According to Pete Carroll, though, not so. He says that they've had a solid first half, but they really need to do a much better job of catching the ball. He says that Mark Sanchez doing a good job of avoiding the rush, but the wide receivers really need to pick it up, he told me. He says they also want to run the ball better in the second half, Tom.
Yeah, I think wide receivers have 9 catches this first half.
Well, the SC had a field goal drive and a touchdown drive, and then got a gift touchdown on the turnover from Notre Dame. You saw Evan Sharpley and Jimmy Clausen wearing number 7, the freshman quarterback who started game 2 at Penn State and started every game until this week as Sharpley takes over, and no points in the first half. Sharpley 13 and Clausen number 7, as David Beeler has it teed up and ready to kick off to Allen and Jabby.
And they need a good return and a spark, I think, in the passing game. I just don't think they can be able to run with any consistency against this Trojan defense. So they need a spark in the passing game. You know, a run after the catch, Tom.
So look at Armando Allen, one of the deep men for the Irish. He had a pretty decent return earlier, but they couldn't do anything with it. Beeler puts his toe to it, and the second half is underway as Allen fields it a yard deep. Armando Allen with a little seam, dragged down as he crosses the 20 to the 23-yard line. So the first half a study in frustration for the Irish.
Had 6 punts and a blocked field goal.
Blocked field goal came after they had blocked a punt with great field position.
And I think for Charlie, the big thing is 5 3 and outs. He said that Alex Flanagan walking off at halftime. You know, USC had time of possession advantage by 9 minutes. And remember when Charlie's teams were really good the last couple of years, they really hogged the football. They had real good production on first down.
Travis Thomas starts at running back. West, Harris, and Tate are the wide receivers. First down play. Sharpley sacked back at the 11-yard line.
35th sack of the year, and there's Cedric Ellis. Yeah. Cedric Ellis is really a tough guy to block. Just a powerful guy. We're talking to Pete Carroll about him. He said he got some help from Lawrence Jackson as well, didn't he? Or excuse me, Kyle Moore. But he was talking about Cedric Ellis. He said, you know, he's just a fantastic player. He's got all the combination. He's stout. He stays on his feet, doesn't get knocked down, plays really quickly.
The All-American Ellis, along with Kyle Moore, sacking Sharpley for a loss of 6. So an inauspicious beginning to the second half. Sharpley, Travis Thomas.
Is there a fumble?
The Trojans think so.
Yeah. I haven't seen the signal yet. I think he fumbled it. I'm not sure who recovered it.
SC's ball as Keith Rivers came out of that pile with the football.
Well, he said Pete Carroll's teams over the years have lived on creating turnovers. Just a really good hit by Kerry Harris, the corner. Read the screen perfectly, right?
Put his helmet right on the football.
And again, as Charlie Weiss said, they're not throwing the ball downfield, so screens are really ineffective. And Kerry Harris makes the play, second turnover of the game for the Trojans. In his career, Carroll's career, that is 223 turnovers over the last 7 years.
And second time that they have given the Trojans the ball on a turnover deep in their own territory. It's being reviewed. Dominic Lombardo and Nick Trainer from the Big East are the replay officials today.
It's amazing. USC -6 in the turnover category this season, Tom, when they've lived so much over the years. And Coach Carroll's team over his career +92 coming into today's game over the last 6.5 years. Take another look. Didn't have possession there. He's got possession. Ball comes out. Sure looks like a fumble to me.
Juggled it once and then appeared to have it, although he never secured it, you know. He never really secured the football, and then with Harris putting his helmet right on the football, recovered by SC. Rivers is the man that came out with the football. I'm not sure who officially recovered it, but the play stands after the review as it appeared it would.
Yes, it just, there's no margin for error for Charlie's team. 2 big turnovers give the Trojans the ball deep in Irish territory.
So he had the football, made a football move, ruled a fumble, recovered by SC. First down, 13 of the Irish. They'll try to get it on the ground as they pound ahead with Chauncey Washington, tackled by Tom Zibikowski.
We talk about all the things that Stanley Havili, the fullback, does for USC. That time, just kind of on a lead play. Quick no huddle for USC. Havili again proving his versatility.
Here's Washington again, dodging, can't get away. Tackled in the backfield by Pat Coons.
Yeah, Pat Coons has had a nice defensive game. 2 tip balls, a nice stop in the backfield there for the nose tackle.
To bring up a third down and a couple of yards to go.
Tight ends for USC have caught 6 touchdown passes. They make awfully big targets down in this neck of the woods.
We know what Fred Davis can do.
Yeah.
So 3rd down and 2 from the Irish 5-yard line. 2 tight ends. Anthony McCoy joins Davis. Sanchez throws short of the end zone. With a hop in, Havili for the touchdown. Hopped in like a bunny rabbit. Stanley Havili with a nice move for the TD.
How valuable is Stanley Havili? You know, we've talked about him lead blocking in the first play. Really good receiver. See the way he avoided the rush of John Ryan? And then whoops, yip, 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 yip. He gets in the end zone. He catches, he blocks, he runs. And I've said for years, Tom, the fullback really always seems to be open in most offenses. They just aren't utilized much in the passing game.
Well, a lot of them can't catch the football.
Yeah.
For one thing.
There was a high school running back, tailback.
Extra point by Beeler is good. Second gift touchdown of the day that the Irish have given to the Trojans, who up their lead to 24. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Vonage, a better way to phone for less. By Xerox Color, it makes business sense. And by Sirius Satellite Radio. Hear what you've been missing on Sirius Satellite Radio, the best radio on radio.
Junior Chatney and Alfonso Allen deep for Notre Dame.
From Notre Dame Stadium, Tom Hammond, Pat Hayden, Alex Flanagan.
What do you think Jimmy Clausen has learned from this on the sidelines?
I don't know. He can watch Sanchez, who's made
a lot of good plays.
Yeah, a lot of good plays. Here's kick taken by Jabby. Got away from one man, but not the second, third, and fourth. First hit by Alan Bradford on special teams, and Evan Sharpley set to take the field again. There's Jimmy Clausen watching.
Yeah, it's hard to believe because Charlie Weis, they averaged 31 points a game. Really good play caller a year ago. It helps when you have Brady Quinn, but they've had 3 games this year without an offensive touchdown. Not scored yet today, but just shocking.
By most measurements, the worst offense in college football.
Well, yeah, 119 teams. They're at or near the bottom in just about everyone.
Georgia Tech, Penn State, Michigan, all failing to score an offensive touchdown. David Grimes into the game for the first time. There's a flag down as George West catches that one on the slant from Sharpley.
Yeah, Terrell Thomas, I think, got there a little bit early, the defensive back for USC. Nice catch by George West, kind of screening the ball from the defender.
Pass interference. Also, the green jerseys continue to be a hex for the Irish, don't they?
Yeah, well, they think they're, what, 1 and 5 the last 6 times a season?
On the defense. That penalty is first down at the spot of the foul.
First down at the spot of the foul on the interference by Thomas. There's
they're 5 and 4. 1 and 4 the last 5 games. That's what I was thinking about. We beat Army last year in the green jerseys. A different shade of green, the green that Charlie likes a little bit better.
He didn't like these, but the captains and the leadership committee overruled him and said we want to wear these. These are the same. Sharply sacked, ridden down by Ellis. Cedric Ellis.
Boy, that's 305 pounds of man right in your face. Now, playing nose tackle is probably the least glamorous position in football, right? But I'll tell you, if you're going to have a good, stout defense down the middle, you better have a good nose tackle. And USC has one in Cedric Ellis. He's just a fantastic player.
Sort of hog-tied him there, didn't he?
Yeah, indeed.
Setting up a screen. Here's Carlson to the 15-yard line. Only gained a couple of yards, so 3 or 4 perhaps. Reith, Ellis, and Rivers.
You know, Charlie's got that big call sheet. It's got, I don't know, 100 play calls on it. But, you know, when you're in 3rd and 17, you're down 24-0. There's not too many calls under that category.
And also when your line isn't doing a great job of protection and your quarterback is a little off on his targets and the wide receivers aren't getting open, doesn't leave him many options.
They've got nowhere to go.
Sharply in the pocket. Completion well short of the first down. Not even close. Carlson hangs on, wrestled to the turf immediately. The Trojans were ready for that. Kevin Ellison made the tackle for USC and about 10 yards short of the first down.
Yeah, Joe McKnight back to field the punt. Pete Carroll really excited about the future for Joe McKnight. Thinks he can have a big career as a kick returner and punt returner. Flashed a little bit last week against Stanford. Excuse me, not Stanford, Arizona. They wish they flashed against Stanford.
Yeah, he did his flash against Stanford. Jeff Price, nice boot. McKnight from the 25-yard line. Got a pretty good block. 2 Irish knocked themselves off of it, and here's McKnight with a cutback. Zibikowski grabs him, and his forward progress stopped. It's a 19-yard return of a 54-yard Price punt and a little scuffle.
Yeah. Could have been a block in the back there too against USC.
Pete Carroll saying, "Come on, guys, we got everything going our way. Let's get off the field here." That ever-present smile. Of course, it's easy for him to smile. 24-0. SC up on the line, ready to go with a first down play. Leading 24-0. They begin in Notre Dame territory. Excuse me, just almost Notre Dame territory at their own 45-yard line. Hand off to Havili. Short gain for Havili on first down. And while we were away that last break, over on the Notre Dame sideline, Evan Sharpley, number 13, and Clausen, number 7, talking there, the 2 quarterbacks.
Well, you say, hey, should you put Jimmy Clausen in down 24-0? I don't think so. I mean, I just don't think he's done anything this year that says, hey, I can bring my team back from 24 points.
Well, if he is truly banged up also, as we understand he is, and you can see why, taking the punishment so far this season, then why put him at risk?
Yeah, that did make sense.
Second down. Hand off to McKnight.
Joe McKnight on the carry.
And Lambert makes the hit. Let's go to Alex.
Hey, Tom, I've been watching Jimmy Clausen throughout this game. He's been very nondescript on the sideline, almost without emotion throughout this entire game. Last week after he was pulled, we saw him trying to fire up his teammates, but he hasn't really been that guy in this game at all. Charlie Weis, though, when he made the announcement that Evan Sharpley would be starting and not wholly committed to Evan Sharpley, saying that he will evaluate these 2 quarterbacks on a week-to-week basis, Tom.
Clausen continues to watch from the sideline as SC faces a 3rd and 3 at the Notre Dame 48. Sanchez wide open. The pass caught by Hazelton. Hazelton with another move. And another. And a third. And touchdown! Vidal Hazelton with a tremendous run after the catch for the SC touchdown. It covered 48 yards.
Well, Steve Sarkisian said just this week, we want to see a little bit more out of Vidal Hazelton, and you saw a lot of it here. First of all, Tom, he is absolutely wide open. I mean, there isn't really, it's Ambrose Wooden trying to chase him down, and then a missed tackle there, second missed tackle, and into the end zone. What a terrific play by Vidal Hazelton. You know, they've been much more explosive, the USA offense, much more explosive than they have been in the last 3 weeks when they've struggled on offense.
Beeler boots the extra point through the uprights. Hazelton from New York, and Hargrove Military Academy with a brilliant run after catch. Sanchez loves it. So does Pete. I'm not sure if that was the president on the phone, but Hazelton receiving congratulations, no doubt.
Somebody.
For a brilliant run after the catch from Sanchez.
It cracks me up, these young guys. This is the only time they're ever on a hardline phone in a football game.
That's right. Had fun of that.
It's the only time they've ever seen one of those hard lines.
And the route is on here at Notre Dame Stadium. A squib kick, fielded after a battle by Jabby. Junior Jabby lowers his head, upended at the 26-yard line. Well, it's another rough afternoon for Charlie Weis, who says this has been a season of adversity for him.
Probably been one of the more challenging years I've ever had, because each week you're trying to find something to get going. And I've never been one to just run the same thing over and over if it's not working. So not that you're grab bagging, but you're trying to find something where you could have some moderate success.
Yeah, still looking, Tom, you know.
Yeah, unable to get even moderate success today as Armando Allen is stopped after a short gain.
I think that's the most frustrating thing is, you know, usually you do at least one thing well. You know, maybe you run the ball well or you're a short passing game, but he has nothing to hang his hat on and say, hey, next week we'll start with this and build on it. And it's really been like that all season long.
The disparity in total yards.
Yeah, how about time of possession?
Yeah.
When you can't run the ball effectively, those are the kind of numbers you see.
Allen. Armando Allen with a pretty nice run, ridden down by Ellison and Mays. So a 7-yard gain. 3rd down and 3. Evan Sharpley has seen his offense convert only one time in 9 previous 3rd downs. And Notre Dame calls a timeout before they had the delay of game penalty. Sharpley to the sideline. 3rd down when we come back. And back at Notre Dame, there's a look at a couple of U.S. Army Bowl graduates, Sanchez and McKnight.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Clausen played in the game as well. Vince Young, Peterson, Brady Quinn, Reggie Bush. That's all going to be on NBC January 5th to see the stars of the future in the U.S. Army Bowl. Sharpley's pass deflected, knocked down, almost intercepted on the fly.
It was Everson Griffin.
Appeared by Everson Griffin, the freshman from Avondale, Arizona.
Yeah, Pete Carroll was talking. He's talking to us about number 93, Everson Griffin. Said, you know, he's really beginning to understand. Had his first sack and forced fumble last week. Said he is really fast. He said early in the year he was kind of running into offensive linemen. Now he's running around them and making plays like that.
He got by Chris Stewart, who has replaced Paul Duncan at right tackle. So Jeff Price to punt, if I said that?
Yes.
And McKnight lets it bounce. Takes it on the bounce. And then twisted down at the 30-yard line. Ripped the ball out, but it's well down. McKnight.
How about some of these touchdowns from Mark Sanchez today? Really, it's his first start on the road, Tom, and he kind of managed the game pretty well, threw the ball very accurately, although a real good catch here by Alan Bradford to catch it, then get it in the end zone. But I think the important thing is he's just, he's done everything right, just hasn't gotten out of kilter. 4 touchdown passes for Mark Sanchez to 4 different receivers. It makes him difficult to defend.
Well, this is no fluke either. He was U.S. High School Player of the Year out of Mission Viejo High School. Washington dodging a man in the backfield and then carrying it for 11 yards and a first down, tackled by Zbikowski.
Tom, I saw Sanchez play a couple times in high school. I live in Southern California. Best high school quarterback I throwing the football. Now, there's more to just throwing the football. The best high school player I've ever seen wing it. Now, some people say, hey, should he be the guy when John David Booty's healthy? I don't think so. John David Booty has played remarkably well last year and at the beginning of this year until he got hurt.
But Sanchez, who began shakily against Arizona last week, and maybe a little bit today as he had to call a couple of early timeouts, has really found his rhythm since then as Stephon Johnson carries for SC. So Steve Mariucci saying at halftime that he thought that Sanchez...
I disagree, and I would be shocked if John David Booty doesn't get the job back when he's healthy.
Well, most coaches say you can't lose your job due to an injury.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done anything wrong, really, has he?
No, absolutely. He threw the 4 interceptions in Stanford in the second half, but he had that broken finger.
Right.
Probably should have come out.
Yeah, should have been taken from the game.
He should have been taken, or he should have taken himself out because he couldn't grip the ball properly.
Second and short. Washington cut back. First down, Trojans. Sanchez has the respect of his head coach. Here's what Pete Carroll said about it.
He brings a tremendous energy to the game. He's really an upbeat, effervescent type of guy, very competitive, and he's going to go for it when he gets his chances. We love that about Mark. And he's always been a guy we've expected to jump on the scene when he gets his opportunity.
A little too hyper sometimes. It was humorous to see in the Arizona game Pete Carroll settle down, settle down.
But don't you think he settled down and managed this game as well as he's just throwing it? But he's shown some emotion, but I think really kind of kept his emotions in check as well.
Harnessing that emotion.
Yeah.
Here's McKnight as they go to the reverse. Out of bounds, close to being a hit out of bounds. Zbikowski and Bruton.
Nice persistent block by Brad Walker, number 48 for the Trojans in the corner, allowing Joe McKnight to pick up about 8 yards. Here he is, Brad Walker. Everybody remembers him from the Texas game in the national championship game when Reggie Bush tried to pitch him the ball, wasn't quite ready for it.
Still 5.5 minutes left in the third quarter, and SC driving again. Third down and 2. Sanchez, plenty of time, rifles it a little too high and incomplete, intended for Fred Davis. And to throw it too high for Davis is difficult to do.
Yeah, they were trying to get a home run to Ronald Johnson down the field. Number 8, the wide receiver, running deep. He was taken away. Good coverage because Mark Sanchez had plenty of time. Great pass protection.
Well, the scoreboard says 4th down, and we also said that last one was 3rd down, but the down marker says on the sideline says 3rd down.
Yeah.
So not in sync. Hand off to Johnson. Got nothing.
Stephon Johnson.
Joe Brockington underneath that stack to make the Notre Dame tackle. A little shaken up on the play, it appears. Slow to get up.
Oh, did he play well against BC last week? Career game for Joe Brockington, 13 tackles, and he's already graduated a degree in American Studies. Wouldn't be surprised to see him off in law school next year.
Well, so now for sure it's 4th down.
Yeah.
And the Trojans will go for it. 4th down and 2.
Again, Havili up top. Played just about everywhere, hadn't he?
The versatile one.
Yeah.
Sanchez through his hands and incomplete. So Havili is the man they look for, and the Irish appear to have him double covered. Munir Prince was closest to him. Pass was a little too hard and incomplete, and the Trojans will turn it over on down, but still have the big lead. Irish take over after the 4th down conversion failed. You'll see there's Vanderbilt with a big win today. You'll see Vandy grad Jay Cutler tomorrow night. Sunday Night Football there's another sack. This one, Malaluga with a sack of Evan Sharpley. So Jay Cutler and the Denver Broncos hosting the Steelers tomorrow night, Sunday Night Football.
One more free blitzer coming absolutely cleanly.
Yeah.
Started out in the opening game against Georgia Tech, and here we are in game, 8 now?
In basketball, they call that the Matador defense.
Yeah.
It's usually just wave him on through. 5th sack of the day by the SC defense.
Well, that's about the average. They've been giving up an average of 5 sacks per game, although they actually had gotten better the last 2 weeks.
Sharpley, SC ready for that.
Oh, boy.
And
how about Moala?
Tackled at the 30-yard line.
Fili Moala, number 75, the defensive tackle. 6'5", 295 pounds. Just read that perfectly. I mean, you always talk about guys here. He's right in here, I believe. And a guy who just sees it, feels it, and then just, hey, this doesn't feel right. It feels like a screen. And basically, he went out and covered the back. Just a heads-up play by Moala. Third and what?
I don't know a lot. Draw play, handoff to Armando Allen. Crosses the 40-yard line. A gain of 11, but still short of the 1st down. And it'll be another punt for Jeff Price.
He has won his letter today. A stunned student body who stand throughout the entire game. They expected maybe kind of a rebuilding year, but I don't think they expected this.
Notre Dame just completely unable to get anything going on offense today. McKnight draws a lead on the Price punt, fields it right at the sideline. There's a penalty marker down way on the other side of the field. McKnight taken to the turf at the 9-yard line.
Heck of a punt. Really good punt.
Good coverage, too, by Lambert.
Landing on the far side of the field.
The flag, there wasn't any player even close.
Even close, within 35 yards of the field judge. Holding against USC, they call.
His bionic vision to have spotted that one.
Clearly, he must have had LASIK.
Holding by number 26 of the return team. That penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick, half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
Penalty is half the distance to the goal, which will put it back at about the 6-yard line.
Pete Carroll saying, hey, what you have for me, Coach Sarkisian? Because Coach's defense leaves the offensive calls to Steve Sarkisian. I think he wants to see a bunch of runs. He's going to chew up some clock.
Sure, why not? 2:26 left in the 3rd quarter. Back Washington nearly broke free.
Well, you can't blame it on the defense, right? They've been on the time of possession. Is
totally worn out. Kyle McCarthy that time.
Yeah. You know who's had a nice game is Butch Lewis, the left tackle for USC. The guy that really gets his first start.
1st down SEC. Today's 1st down line brought to you by Xerox. I said SEC, USC. 1st down.
Thinking about your old Kentucky team, aren't you? Playing that Florida Gator team.
Tough assignment back-to-back LSU in Florida.
You get them every week in the SEC.
Washington. Trevor Laws gets credit for another tackle.
I've said it a couple times, Tom. Good football teams run it even when the defense knows it. And remember, we started this broadcast by saying USC has 3 backup offensive linemen, and they have really played well. We mentioned Butch Lewis, Malu at right guard, and Matt Spanos in at center. Chris O'Dowd, the freshman, out today. Spanos, as we say, couldn't practice all week snapping the ball to the center. There's practice, but just can't snap it to the quarterback until Saturdays.
2nd and 5, another running play to Washington, and Chauncey.
It doesn't go down easily.
Does not, and second effort guy within a yard or so of the first down marker. John Ryan hanging on.
You know, Trojan or Irish fans wonder what happened this year, and Trojan fans say, what if? A 1-point loss to Stanford, and they get into a real tough part of their schedule coming up as USC.
They have to travel to Eugene.
Yeah, that's a tough place to play.
Face the Ducks.
I think incredibly athletic is Oregon, and they play at Cal and Oregon State and such.
Notre Dame, by the way, has a bye week next week.
Oh, good time for
which
them.
will be welcome. Avili.
Well, Pete Carroll, I think we heard in that soundbite, he said, hey, we think we have the guys to make a surge at Oregon. Very good Oregon team, a good Oregon State team. Cal dynamic, although losing right now to UCLA. Arizona State, their arch rivals on December 1st, UCLA. It won't be easy.
Avili's carry close to the first down, close enough that they will measure. 27 seconds left in the 3rd quarter.
Carroll said, you know, our first goal is getting to the Rose Bowl. Winning the Pac-10, getting the Rose Bowl. You know, they go further than that. Looks just a pinch short, would you say? No?
Pinch. No, I'd say it's a first down.
It looked a pinch short to me.
I'd hate to have a recipe you cooked and it called for a pinch of something.
What do you think I could? Well, there's the
Fight On echoing through Notre Dame Stadium. That's been played a time or two today.
Well, 31 points, an opportunity to have it played a lot.
28-yard line, a first down for the Trojans. This could be the final play of the 3rd quarter. It's a Stephon Johnson run, which nets 8 or 9 yards before he's out of bounds, or not out of bounds, as the clock rolls to the end of the 3rd quarter. So SC pretty much putting it away here in the 3rd quarter. They lead Notre Dame 31-0. We'll be back right after these messages from your local NBC station. You're watching Notre Dame football on NBC. Start the quarter, and a lot to cheer about if you're an SC fan. You see a trend there. It would indicate that the Notre Dame offense not only has done nothing, but they have worn out their defense.
Yeah.
Points keep piling up for the Trojans, and they face a 2nd and short here. A run to Johnson will be enough for the first down.
Well, we mentioned the left tackle, Butch Lewis, a couple times, number 68 for USC. There he is, right in the middle of your screen. This is a guy about a month ago. You know, hey, I hadn't played in about a month, and when he did, he was on the practice squad, really just kind of the scout team. And then last week, they moved him over to offense and said, hey, just in case Sam Baker gets hurt, we better coach you up a little bit. So Friday night in the hotel, Pat Rule, the offensive line coach, spent some time with him and coached him in all the plays. And then he ended up playing 3/4 of the game.
So look at big Sam Baker, the 2-time All-American,
looks like
with a mountain man look.
Yeah, St. John the Baptist look.
McKnight dancing. And getting a short gain to the 45-yard line of the Trojans. The men of Troy started slowly today. First touchdown, which put them up 7-0, was courtesy of a Notre Dame turnover deep in Irish territory as a punt bounced off an Irish player, recovered by SC. They took it in for the touchdown, but they really didn't have a touchdown drive until late in the 2nd quarter. Then they got a field goal drive before halftime.
But since that point, that mid-2nd quarter, there's just a sense of inevitability about the outcome, you know, just kind of grinding it out. Not overwhelming with big plays, but a lot of good plays.
Well, the defense can only do so much if you're Notre Dame. Fred Davis, Rockington on his back, gets him to the turf. He's riding him like a bronco.
Yeah, you mentioned Notre Dame going into a bye next week. Boy, apt time for it, Tom. And And then they have to face get ready for a completely different type of team in Navy. And, Notre Dame's beaten them how many times in a row?
43.
43 times in a row. And people say, hey, could this be the year of Navy? Hard team to defend. Boy, they run the triple option awfully well.
Mark Sanchez going down the sideline, overshooting Ausberry. And McNeil was running stride for stride with him. Rayshon McNeil getting a chance to play. The only good thing, if you're Charlie Weis, you can say to your team, the only positive you can take from this, they've not drawn a penalty all day.
Yeah, that is a positive. Blocked the punt,
That's
too.
sort of damning with faint praise.
Yeah, but
George West lets the punt go out of bounds at about the 15-yard line. Evan Sharpley on the field when we return to Notre Dame Stadium.
Allstate brings you the Safe Driver Tip as relayed by Sergeant Tim McCarthy. Sergeant McCarthy has been part of the fabric at Notre Dame for the past 47 years, alerting the faithful with safe driving tips using a clever quip. Today, McCarthy addressed the fans with this message.
Remember, alcohol may make you feel accelerated, but you may not be able to pronounce it.
For a chance to have your safety tip heard on air, go to NBCSports.com/Allstate.
Journalistic integrity compels me to report that drew a gigantic groan from the crowd here at Notre Dame Stadium. Evan Sharpley with a toss.
Mr. Robert Hughes, I think.
Yeah, Hughes
first
got
time
the
I've seen him in, right?
First time today.
Well, we've talked an awful lot this year and again today on how the Irish have just not gotten it done. Rushing offense. They came in ranked 119th, averaging 32. That includes all the sack yards, but only 13 rushing yards today and 90. And yeah, the good news, Tom, you can't go down past 119.
Robert Hughes dancing his way forward. Hughes, the strong runner, freshman from Chicago, Hubbard High School. He's a running back and nose tackle there. I love that combination.
Yeah, it is. One of those, how many guys have we met who fell in love with Notre Dame watching Rudy? That's how he was first introduced to Notre Dame.
Rushed for 5,700 yards in his career. Third down and 9 for Evan Sharpley. Sharpley going deep down the sideline and overshoots Kamara.
Pass is incomplete.
Kerry Harris running right with the freshman Kamara. Irish with only, 5 first downs today?
Yep, exactly right.
And
3 of those occurred in the last, 11 seconds in the first half.
That's when SC was conceding them.
Yeah. This is the 10th.
So basically, 2 first downs today that they have totally earned. Yeah.
And the 10th punt coming up.
9th, 3 and out. Punt. McKnight sees it take an SC bounce. There's a flag down. Pat, if you're an Irish player, how do you keep your enthusiasm up for the remaining part of the schedule, which should be competitive games?
Well, yeah, that's one thing. I mean, they get a week off. They get a semester break. They get to go home, get away from football for a while, which I think is important.
Holding, number 23 of the return team. That'll be 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Holding on Joseph.
Vincent
Joseph. But, the last 4 games are very, very winnable, believe it or not, for the Irish.
Notre Dame football is brought to you by Toyota, moving forward. By Prudential, helping you make the right financial moves in the retirement red zone. By Adidas, impossible is nothing. And by Coca-Cola Zero, real Coke taste, 0 calories. Enjoy Cokeness. The Grotto here on this football weekend at Notre Dame. The great rivalry between the Trojans and the Irish one-sided game today as SC is going to claim its 6th consecutive win against Notre Dame. McKnight.
Face mask there.
Penalty marker is down. John Ryan guilty. Another just note, Pat, to add to the many interesting things. Notre Dame has 5 first downs. All 5 came through the air. Notre Dame has never gone an entire game without a rushing first down.
Wow.
Ever.
That's a lot of football games.
Personal foul, face mask by the defense, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, first down.
You know, and it's amazing because Charlie wanted to run it today, wanted to pound it a little bit. And there's the
face mask.
Easy face mask call on John Ryan.
But as we documented at the start of the game, SC almost impossible to run against.
Yeah, ranked 5th in the country, giving up just 67 yards a game. And the Irish had their problems coming in, as we know, averaging, just 32 yards a game rushing. But
and of course, when you get behind, then you got to wing it.
Yep.
First down handoff to McKnight, and McKnight sprinting clear for the end zone and the touchdown. Joe McKnight with the first touchdown of his promising collegiate career.
What did Pete Carroll say to us yesterday? This guy is a fantastic player, in his words. He says he's got it all. He says from the very first moment I saw him on film in high school in Louisiana, I said this guy had it all, knew he had it all.
And the freshman galloped 51 yards for the score, and he's going to keep that football. I bet he has it safely tucked under his arm as Beeler lines up for the extra point. And it is good.
A good block on the left side. Butch Lewis, Jeff Byers. Big old hole on the left side. Look at number 68, Lewis. And then this is a guy who won the 100 meters in high school his junior year in Louisiana, came in second his senior year. Not too many guys, unless the guy that beat him in his
yeah, where's he?
Exactly.
And here's what Pete Carroll said about Joe McKnight.
Joe McKnight is an extraordinary talent. I've been just touched with him from the moment I first saw him on film, and he's never disappointed me. The only problem we've had was getting Joe uncomfortable. He had to get comfortable with the college game. There's nothing that he can't do. He's got great speed, he can catch everything, he's very elusive, and he's got a knack, and we're really excited about his emergence.
Well, that run, 51 yards. Contrast that with Notre Dame's team rushing effort today, a grand total of 14.
Yeah, boy. They had a lot of backs with, look at this, 40-plus runs. So is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys with at least a 40-yard run. Unreal. Pete Carroll was saying we probably made a mistake with Joe McKnight early in this season when we tried to spot play him. They played him a little receiver here and there. So he should have been in the mix, the regular mix.
We're not trying to pile on here, just document things. So USC now has as many touchdowns as Notre Dame has first downs. Allen 2 yards deep. Tough hit on Armando Allen. Well, time now for our Liberty Mutual Legends of the Game. In 1977, the Green Machine chant at the pep rally foreshadowed Notre Dame's uniform change. Irish warmed up in traditional blue and gold, but came out for the kickoff in Kelly Green. And maybe inspired by that switch, or maybe by Joe Montana, who led a fired-up Notre Dame to a 49-19 victory over USC en route to another national championship. And last night, that 77 team honored at the pep rally.
Don't you think having Joe Montana on your team is always a good thing?
That's it.
Yeah, that always helps.
If I had to choose between the jerseys or Joe.
I know what you do.
Flag down, it's a free play for Sharpley. Will Yateman with a catch behind the line of scrimmage, it appeared, driven back anyway. But it looked like SC was offside.
One thing about Evan Sharpley is just a calm demeanor, and I think that's important for your leader, particularly when everything's going badly.
Number 97 on the defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Offsides on Alex Morrow, defensive end from USC. But, we were struck by him as we talked to him yesterday. He has this aura of confidence about him.
And he's got an understated humor about him as well. I think his teammates appreciate that. He's very smart. On the Notre Dame baseball team, as you probably know.
And, you know, I give him some credit. He's the only quarterback that Charlie Weis didn't recruit. You know, he's Ty Willingham's guy, but, you know, he didn't pout, didn't quit, didn't transfer. All these big stars, you know, come in. Charlie Weis recruited 3 quarterbacks around him, and he just kind of fought and clawed, and really basically gave up baseball, one of his loves, last spring when he only played just a little bit, so he could make every spring practice. And you know, he's done the right thing.
Jimmy Clausen monitoring the call over on the sideline, and Sharpley's dad says, here's another thing that no one knows about him. He's really a good cook.
Yeah, exactly. His mom says he has an indomitable spirit and can't keep him down for too long.
Bursting free for a moment, Armando Allen. Looks like that'll be a rushing first down. So that,
there you go.
And listen to the crowd.
There's Evan Sharpley's parents clapping. Tom and Nancy. Tom's texting somebody.
That's the initial Notre Dame first down of the second half, and their initial rushing first down of the game. So that record is safe. And we still have 9.5 minutes. As Luke Schmidt, the fullback, gets a chance to carry the ball. His first carry of the season. Sophomore from Jasper, Indiana. Clay Matthews, the tackle.
See number 59, Chris Stewart, in at offensive tackle for the Irish as well. A guy that left the team for a little while. Wasn't sure whether he wanted to be on the Irish team, but came back. His parents encouraged him to do so. Getting some playing time late in the game.
Looks like Michigan State will remain #1.
Michigan State.
I will say Michigan State. Playing
Ohio
Michigan
State,
Ohio
yeah.
State. Armando Allen. Got about 4 yards, a yard short of the first down.
You know, for Pete Carroll, all you worry about from this point is keeping your team as healthy as you can, right? Big game next week at Oregon in Eugene.
And he's got his second team defenders in there for the most part. Luther Brown made that tackle and made one on the run before.
They actually rotate a lot of these guys through. Kyle Moore still on the field. A lot of these linebackers play. So Brian Cushing started today. We didn't call his name a lot, did we?
We didn't. Again, Notre Dame taking a timeout there. Timeout. Clock shows 8:16 left in an SC rout. Welcome back to Notre Dame Stadium, where the Irish have it 3rd and 1. And pick up the first down on a run by Armando Allen. Alex?
Hey, Tom, well, things on the USC sideline are pretty mellow as players kind of are waiting for the fourth quarter to come to an end, but Pete Carroll is as energetic as the first play. He's still been going up and down, trying to fire up his players, getting in their face, giving them high fives. Of course, not that hard to get your players energized when you're up 38 points, but Pete Carroll, you know, very focused on the positive energy on the sideline. And Pat and Tom, he has got to be one of the most positive coaches I've been around.
Yeah, that's the Pete Carroll method, and he found his niche, didn't he, coming from the NFL, where he had some limited success, and then finding really his true calling as a college head coach. Hired in 2000, 6-6, but after that, look out. Only good things. Split the national title that year. Matt Leinart won the Heisman. They finished #1 in the AP. Reggie Bush wins the Heisman in 05. Last year finished #4, but won the Rose Bowl. And this year with one loss, hoping that they can make it back to the Rose Bowl. Sharpley's pass on the money to midfield.
Following up on Alex's report about the positiveness of Pete Carroll, we were talking to Jeff Byers, the offensive guard for USC this week, and he was saying that he's just so upbeat, so positive. We just feel it. Even when things aren't going well, he's upbeat and positive. Never down. There's Jeff Byers. Here's a guy who's gone through some injuries, 4 surgeries in 3 seasons, 2 on his back, 2 on his hip.
I'm just guessing, but I think that flight home might be better than the one when they came in, right?
They had a rough flight coming in. You're right. A lot of bumps.
A lot of smiles on the ride home. Sharply threads it into Kamara, flag down. Kamara caught it, I think. A nice catch by the freshman with Kerry Harris draped all over him.
Yeah, I think they may call interference as well. So good, tough catch by Kamara. Big target.
6'4", 205.
Played for a wing T team in high school.
Pass interference. Number 47 on the defense. First down at the spot of the foul.
One negative thing for SC penalties. That's their 7th penalty I think I have on them.
Notre Dame's still without a penalty, aren't they?
Let's see. Penalties. No, I have 1 for 15. Yeah, SC now has 8. Let's make it 9.
3 yard
Going up.
pickup in effect.
7, 8, 9.
I like the way you adjust Hannibal on the
Yeah,
fly.
you have to. Yeah, there's a guy who loves the game, huh?
Yeah, and
he
loves the last 2 even better.
Yeah.
When he's gotten the start and has pulled the Trojans to 2 wins.
Disappointed his brother Brandon couldn't be here watching him. He was home celebrating his birthday with his mom.
Yeah, he wanted to tell us happy birthday. Have us tell him happy birthday. Robert Hughes. Clock shows 6 minutes 12 and counting. And we invite you to go to NBCSports.com right after the telecast for the Vonage postgame report. Live press conferences, Charlie Weis and Pete Carroll. You also see interviews, analysis, full game highlights, all at NBCSports.com. Playing out the string here at Notre Dame Stadium. Irish hoping to score to avoid the shutout. But the issue has not been in doubt for some time. Luke Schmidt, the fullback. Hit by Alex Morrow. Yeah, there are those smiles again. But they've been a loose bunch. We saw them rocking the bus as they arrived at Notre Dame Stadium. They had all kinds of hijinks going on yesterday in their walkthrough.
How about the walkthrough yesterday? You know, if Woody Hayes would have seen the walkthrough yesterday, he would have been very, very upset.
You asked Pete Carroll that, what would Woody think? And he said, well, probably throw up.
Yeah. It was, we are a loose group on Fridays.
Sharply chased from the pocket. Unloads at the last minute and completes to the 30-yard line. Nice play by Evan Sharply. Will Yateman made the reception. Well, we were here yesterday when they walked through. Pete Carroll throwing with his son. Some of the players playing a little soccer. The linemen had a passing game going. And then the place kicking contest. And, of course, a serious moment. He gathered his team. And then arriving at the stadium today, there's that bus rocking. They're inside, making it shake. 2 years ago when they came to play in that much-hyped game, which lived up to its hype 2 years ago, the Notre Dame fans were rocking the bus. And the SC players got such a kick out of that. They thought it was great. And lots of jokes this time about the length of the grass. It seemed to be normal length, not long as they claimed it was the last time they were here. A lot of crimson smiles this afternoon. Pete Carroll searching around.
Boy, Charlie would love to get a score on the board, you know.
Right.
Just you know, as we said, 3 games without an offensive touchdown for Charlie Weis. It's just got to be killing him.
And just a little momentum or something heading into the bye week. Just something to feel good about because there hasn't been much else.
Yeah. Evan Sharply, again, one of the reasons he got the start because of some mobility. This was a nice play, as you said. Just no run after the catch, though, for the wide receivers, right? As soon as they catch it, they're tackled.
Well, some of that's credit to SC, too.
Yeah, no, they've got a very, very strong defense. But, you know, you look at SC, for example, and Hazelton. Remember the guy who made 4 or 5 guys miss in that long 50-yard touchdown catch and run? Reviewing this play again. Let's see. No, ball hit the ground. Yeah, ball hit the ground.
Field stands as called. Charge timeout, USC.
Really. Are they saying that stands? I couldn't hear what he said.
It said it stands. He certainly dropped it.
Well, let's think that one over.
Yeah.
Notre Dame with the ball at the 30-yard line. Shows 4:48. Irish for the first down. Trying to get on the scoreboard. Sharpley with a handoff to Allen.
That's the best he's run today.
Yeah, that was a nice run.
Well, that was a nice run, but that's one thing you can build on. He has actually run pretty well inside the tackles today, Armando Allen. I mean, tough running, not necessarily big runs. And I think maybe Charlie Weis found out even though he's small in stature, he kind of run in between the tackles. Really been kind of pitching the ball and throwing him screens, the finesse plays, but run the ball well inside.
Allen from Opelika, Florida, went to Hialeah Miami Lakes High School. Suffered a broken leg prior to his senior season, so some of the recruiters backed off. He'd rushed for over 1,000 as a junior. There he is. And a first down. Time for our Prudential Retirement Red Zone stat.
The Irish were awfully good in the red zone scoring touchdowns a year ago. Remember that, Tom? Averaged 31 points a game. Really got productive down there. 73% touchdowns last year. You see what's happened this year?
Yep.
First of all, just 13 trips and less than 50%.
And for more Prudential Retirement Red Zone stats, go to NBCSports.com/Red Zone. It might be a false start against the Irish.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 67 on the offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Thomas Bemmendorfer getting a chance to play today, transfer from Northwestern. Called for the penalty. Sharpley sacked, thrown to the turf by Alex Morrow.
Yeah, they have put a lot of pressure on the quarterback today. That's one of the things Pete Carroll was saying, you know, we really haven't knocked the quarterback around enough this year. Only had 12 sacks coming in today, but all kinds of heat on Evan Sharpley, led by Cedric Ellis, Lawrence Jackson, Kyle Moore, and a whole bunch of this, Ray Malaluga. I got 6 sacks on the day, I think, if I'm not mistaken, by 5 different players.
2.5 minutes remaining. Sharpley's pass caught by Yateman. He draws a crowd.
Sharpley's pass complete to Will Yateman.
And the last time USC shut out the Irish at Notre Dame Stadium, the Depression year of 1933. USC 19-0 on that occasion. The Irish trying to avoid the shutout here, and they have less than 2 minutes to do it. And they're facing a 3rd down and long, extra long. Sharpley wings it. It's almost intercepted, deflected by Ellison, and incomplete.
Well, Kevin Ellison has a nice game at strong safety. Made a lot of plays close to the line of scrimmage as a strong safety. That time, back in deep center field, tips the ball away. Good range by Kevin Ellison. pretty good in the front seven, but not so bad in the back four either. Fourth down and
trying to avoid the shutout. This might be their last chance. Here's Sharpley. In the pocket. Throws incomplete. Intended for Robbie Paris. Incomplete. And SC takes over. Well, the first meeting between these two teams was back in 1926 when the Irish traveled from South Bend to Los Angeles by train to meet at the Coliseum. Knute Rockne and the Irish against SC. Pop Warner. Charlie Riley scored the decisive touchdown as the Irish beat the Trojans 13-12.
How about that?
Pop Warner with Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. We can't really figure out why, but dressed up in
Nice
the
outfits.
Notre Dame and SC uniforms with Knute Rockne and Pop Warner. It was actually at a coaches meeting that the wives of Pop Warner and Knute Rockne decided that their teams should play. And of course, all the Irish people from South Bend, thinking of a winter trip to Los Angeles, were all for it. And of course, that was 1926, the first year this great rivalry began. The greatest intersectional rivalry in all of college football, although a lopsided score today for the favored Trojans, who get Michael McDonald, a fifth-year senior from Newport Beach, in at quarterback.
Son of Paul McDonald, won a national championship as a quarterback at USC in the late 70s.
Here broadcasting the game now
Yep.
with a festive shirt on, I might add. There's a Dennis with the handoff, fumbled it, fell right back on it, and squirted free.
Notre Dame's got it.
And Notre Dame does indeed have it.
Flag thrown as well, Tom.
Yep.
Running in that direction, and then a flag.
This one, Pete Carroll thought maybe he would pitch a shutout. Charlie Weiss's offense has another chance.
This would be their worst shutout at home since losing to
After
Oklahoma.
the play, personal foul by the recovering team, 15-yard penalty, first down.
It'll make the task a little more difficult. The worst shutout at home since losing to Oklahoma 40-0 in 1956.
Nothing but bad stats out of you Tom, today.
I know. I hate to do it, but
yeah. Looks like for number
that's the way it is.
41 for the Irish.
And it'll be
Scott Smith, I think, recovered.
It'll be the first time since 1960 that Notre Dame will have been shut out twice in the same season unless they score.
Yeah, can you imagine that? You know, actually having potentially, if they don't score here, 4 games without an offensive touchdown.
Evan Sharpley throws it into traffic, and it's incomplete, intended for Yateman. And with the incomplete pass, a chance to look at our Chevrolet players of the game. What about Mark Sanchez? What a nice day he had, passing for 235 yards and 4 touchdowns in his second career start. And we're not trying to rub it in here with this Jeff Price averaged 45 yards a punt today on 10 punts, so a good job by Jeff, and we didn't make the punter the MVP to rub it in. That's just because he did have a good game. In recognition of their determination and outstanding play, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Chevy, the American Revolution. Yateman falls down after making the reception. Clock continues to roll. It looks like SC will have its shutout and its 6th straight win over the Irish.
And Pete might be a little chillier in just a few moments.
They were plotting something back there.
Yeah.
And unless Notre Dame scores, this will be the largest margin of victory ever in this series. Intercepted. Intercepted by Ellison.
Intercepted by Kevin
And so
Ellison.
the largest margin of victory ever for USC over Notre Dame. And their first shutout at Notre Dame Stadium since 1933.
Well, he said his defense was coming on. He said to us this week, hey, our run defense has been good, our pass defense has been tight, and they sure were today.
And the second shutout of the season for Notre Dame, which means that hasn't happened since 1960. They just, the
You know, you keep this up, Charlie's not going to invite you over for Thanksgiving.
You got to tell it like it is.
No,
and it's
you're
not
right.
pretty.
You're right.
SC will take a knee and bring this one to a close. SC looked good today. They didn't start out like a house of fire, but they got much better as the game wore on, and Mark Sanchez getting a chance to start. First time on the road, second career start. See John David Booty, number 10, the regular quarterback, and a nice performance by Sanchez leading the Trojans to the shutout victory, the largest margin ever for SC over Notre Dame, 38-0. So we'll be back in 30 seconds to hear from Coach Weiss on the Vonage post-game report.
They're pretty stout up front, but you know.
We're back at Notre Dame Stadium, where USC has beaten Notre Dame by the largest margin of victory in this series, which dates back to 1926. Our Vonage post-game report from Notre Dame Stadium, as the Trojans will fly back to Los Angeles, having beaten Notre Dame 38-0, shutting out the Irish for the first time since 1933, and claiming the largest margin of victory ever in this series, which began in 1926. And a couple of moments ago, Alex Flanagan caught up with Charlie Weiss.
Charlie, you guys couldn't get anything going on offense. What happened?
Well, I'll tell you what, you got to give. First of all, you got to give a lot of credit to USC's defense. They're pretty stout up front. But you know, we tried to run outside. We had negative runs. Ran inside. We were getting a couple of shots till the end of the game, but not enough to to keep possession of the ball. And then we couldn't convert on third down, so we were off the field too much, and our defense was on the field too much.
What do you tell your team in the locker room after this game?
I'll wait till I get in the locker room. That'll be private.
All right, Charlie, thank you.
All right, Alex, so Charlie Weiss saying what he has to say to his team will be private as they head to a bye week, a very welcome bye week, one would imagine, before winding up with games against Navy, Air Force, Duke, and Stanford. Meanwhile, Pete Carroll, Mark Sanchez with a high five of the band. Cheerleaders are enjoying it. I hope they don't rock the plane the way they rocked the bus when they arrived at the stadium today as they head back to Los Angeles and get ready for their big trip to Eugene next week. Let's go back to Alex with Pete Carroll.
Well, Pete, how different was this team today than the team you've had in the last 3 weeks?
Well, we're getting better. I've been saying that we feel like we're getting better, and some guys are starting to come back to us. We're just kind of getting going again. You know, we had some big shocks to our system a little bit here, and a great job by a backup quarterback to come to Notre Dame and get a big win. Great defensive day. I really think we're getting stronger now. So we didn't get anybody banged up today. It's a big move for us, and then hopefully we can start really cranking.
Talk to me a little bit about the performance of Mark Sanchez. I mean, he seemed to be extremely efficient today. Did you expect that out of him?
Well, we saw him really kind of feel comfortable in the fourth quarter last week and hoped that he would feel better. You know, he really was in control of the game. It was really good to be on the road in this setting and to play well. So that's a big deal for us. It really makes us stronger going down the road.
Pete, now with 2 strong quarterbacks, does that put any extra weight on your shoulders in terms of who the starter might be going forward?
No, I'm not worried about that. We'll figure that all out. But the great thing is that we have 2 quarterbacks that we know can play as winners, and that's really important to us.
All right, a big win for you guys. Congratulations. Thank you.
All right, Alex, there's a look at Mark Sanchez, and SC looked very good. I agree with Pete Carroll. They seem to have found themselves now. The question I have for you, Pat, is Notre Dame. A big question mark here. Are they getting better?
No, they have not, and they certainly have not gotten better offensively. I would say defensively, it's hard to tell because they're on the field so much.
Right.
But
How do you judge?
Yeah, it's hard to judge that. But I think the best thing for them, they have this week off, Tom. They can go home to their families. Nobody's going to ask them about football. Get away from it for a while. Come back and be fresh.
Our Vonage post-game report continues now on NBCSports.com. You can watch Charlie Weiss and Pete Carroll's live press conferences. Don't forget, in 2 weeks, Notre Dame back as they take on Navy. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, it's your local news. Then starting at 8/7 Central, Bionic Woman, followed by Chuck and Law & Order SVU. So for Pat Hayden and Alex Flanagan, Tom Hammond saying so long from Notre Dame Stadium. You've been watching the Vonage post-game report.